Hello everyone, my name is Caden, and welcome back to more Chaos Child. It's been quite a while since I've actually last played this game. I've taken a bit of a heavy break from it, so if I don't remember some things, then apologies. But apparently we should also be getting close to the end of the common route, so that'll be nice. But anyways, let's get to it. And if I forget voices and have to redo new voices, then I apologize for that. The employee and security guard at the front desk suddenly started to leave. They dropped what they were carrying and began to stagger out, as if they weren't thinking about anything. Her eyes went wide. She immediately tried to read their minds. She felt a sharp pain in her head when she did. They really weren't thinking about anything. There wasn't even the meaningless subconscious noise that all humans produced. Nobody was ever like this. Nobody normal, that is. Mind control. The two of them walked to the escalator as if they were in a daze and then disappeared. All that was left was empty silence. He's prepared. Oh dear. Another violent pain struck her. This didn't make sense. They'd already vanished. There was no reason why she should be hearing their thoughts. Where was this heavy load coming from? What? Whoops. She felt something very strange in her mind and body. And then she saw her right hand slowly begin to move without her controlling it. Uh-oh. Are you all ready? Yeah, everybody's ready to go. Shinjo-san was out of breath. He'd run back to Alba Dorm to take the place of the other officer, who I hadn't seen because I was in Uki's room. I could tell he'd been literally running around all day. Okay, I'm the only one who'll be here for the next several hours. I gave them some false information to the media outside. There's no one here now. We can take the car and go. Mishiro and Arima are one thing, but when the next officer comes, how do you intend to explain Yamazawa and Tachibana Yuta's absence? That was a good question. There was no way to hide that, and it would be his fault if they went missing. Yeah. I've learned how to change the subject by talking to you and Mimosa-san. Don't worry. I'm not worried about your well-being. I have a lot of work planned for you after this. You can get demoted, but I can't have you being fired. See? This is Shinjo-san sighed. Then Uki came in with Yuto at her side and a worried look on her face. She slowly raised her hand. The other hand was clutching Yuto's tightly. Yuto's eyes were still red and he wasn't looking good. Uki seemed to be trying to hold him up.
Where are we going?
Akiba for now. What? Akiba? You mean Akihabara? Yeah. I was sure that we'd go somewhere less densely populated. I thought we'd go somewhere further away. Kunosawa-san has someone in Akiba helping her. Shinjo-san looked back at her. Someone else is helping Kunosawa-san. The hacker is better at finding information with a computer than I am. He's a weirdo, but he knows a bit about the situation. He'll put us up for a while. For some reason, Kunosawa-san furrowed her brow and frowned. You know, I got confirmation earlier that when she was talking about Kurisu, she was talking about... excuse me. She was talking about the same Kurisu that I was thinking about at the time, which is the one from Steins Gate. So... if we're talking about hackers... Oh god, what was the guy's name again? Was it Daru? I'm gonna look this up, because it's bothering me. Oh yeah, I should also probably mention, these episodes might be a bit shorter, because just for a little bit, because I do have, they might, I should say, I'm still gonna aim for the 2 hours, but if they're shorter, it's probably because I'm gonna be hanging out with family and stuff. Because I have my brother who's not here too often, and he's gonna be here for a week, and then my aunt and uncle who gonna be here a couple weeks. But point is, if what was I doing again? Oh right, looking up Steins Gate character names. Here we go. Itaru. It's not Daru. Where did I get Daru from?
He's giving us a fairly decent machine too. But who knows what he'll want in exchange.
Shinjo-san seemed confused. Confused? Evidently had met this helper of hers.
Anyway, what's important isn't how far we go from here we go. What's important is getting out of Shibuya. We'll stay there for a while and see how things go.
That's the plan. Where's Arimura-san? Oh, she's in Nono's room. On the phone. I see. Arimura had said she was calling her family before she left. But when she'd taken her phone into Nono's room, she hadn't looked like a girl who was saying goodbye to her family. It always felt like Arimura didn't want to talk about her family, and I hadn't brought up the subject. So I had a vague sense that they weren't on good terms, but I didn't know anything else. Okay, once she's done, we'll go. The car's met by the front entrance. We won't have to worry about the New Year for a while, but be careful when you get in. The neighbors might be watching.
I'm taking Yuto too.
Huh? Uki suddenly spoke up. Keep it in the wrong button. She must have been nervous because she clenched his hand even tighter. She was acting a little strange, but it was also cute to see how much she cared. I couldn't help but smile. I looked at Shinjo-san and saw that his expression was much the same as mine. Of course, that's been the plan from the start. Is that okay, Yuto-kun?
Yeah.
Yuto nodded. And then he looked at me.
Big bro. Where's Dad? Is he okay?
I didn't know what to say. Yuto didn't know anything about what was going on. Nor did Uki, who was looking at me and also expecting an answer. It hurt to see how worried they looked. All I could do was tell myself that I couldn't make it any better. I'll tell you later.
When's later?
Once we reach Akihabara and get settled in. I could tell Yuto was struggling with his feelings. Now it was his turn to grasp Uki's hand tightly.
Okay. As long as you promise.
Yeah, go get your things.
Okay.
The two of them must have felt the exact same way as they went to their rooms, still holding each other's hands. I'm not trusting anything in this game anymore, because last time I tried doing that, they killed a child. Last time I tried trusting this game, they killed a child. How do you expect me to trust anything in this game anymore? This game scares me. There was a reason I had to take a break for it for so long, because it felt like I could actively feel my sanity slipping away every second I was playing. And I can feel that drain beginning to start up again. Shinjo-san looked at me with a pained expression. It's fine. Of course, that was a lie. But Shinjo-san was nice enough to not say anything. I keep hitting that button, dang it. Shinjo-san, I want to check one last thing. Kunosawa-san stared at the hallway where Uki and Yuto had just left as she spoke. I could tell from the way she was acting that it had something to do with Dad. About 2.5 hours ago, someone appeared at the Memorial Park claiming to be Miyashiro, right?
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. I remember the news I'd just seen on my tablet.
The TV news and Tweepo had all been talking about how I appeared at Memorial Park. But of course, that was a lie. I was right here. I assume he'll be left with a warning and released tomorrow? That's the plan. I feel sorry for the guy, but can you do whatever it takes to keep him locked up for a few more days? Really? Shinjo-san seemed to know what she's getting at. Are you gonna try and maybe keep him as the suspect so that we have more time to get away? He looked down into the hallway, too. You think Sakuma sent him? She nodded. The timing is such that any number of fakes could appear, but it worries me that a man trying to be a Miyashiro Takeru didn't make the slightest effort to look like him. Even at a distance, anyone should have been able to tell it was a different guy. It's true that he wasn't a Chaos Child Syndrome patient, Shinjo-san said. That was confusing. When I'd seen the man on my tablet, his height and age had been mostly the same as mine. I thought it would have been hard to tell us apart from a distance. And what did Chaos Child Syndrome have to do with it when that was just a type of PTSD? I'd like to know more about him if I can. Kurosawa-san tapped at her temples. Got it. I'll work something out. It was also strange to see how easily Shinjo-san agreed to keep an innocent man locked up. It's time to go. Tell Arimura-san. He pointed to the clock before I could ask any questions. It was 10 p.m. Okay, I've got all our things ready. Huh? I opened the door to Nono's room to tell Arimura it was time to go, but there was no one in there. The lights were off too. Was she already done talking on the phone? That would mean she probably was having Kazuki get the last of their things together. So she'd likely be in the dining room or maybe Uki's room. Come to think of it, I guess we got Kazuki involved in all this too. Kazuki wasn't involved in this case directly, but she was helping a lot, just because she was a member of the newspaper club. Still, I couldn't ask her to come with us. While we've been waiting for Shinjo... Gosh dang it, stop. My hand keeps accidentally just clicking on it. She tried to tell us that she'd come too. Of course, using only a series of mumbles and gestures like always. But I refused, though I was grateful to her from the bottom of my heart. She seemed unsatisfied, but I finally got her to agree to it by promising to keep in touch and to come straight to her if we needed help. I couldn't cause any more trouble for someone who wasn't part of the case. Part of the case, huh? I was suddenly conscious of the smells in Nona's room. Without bothering to turn on the lights, I shut the door behind me and walked over to her desk. I ran my hand along it. And only then did I realize it was the first time I'd been in here since her death. That's right. Nona wasn't supposed to be part of the case. Why? Why? She's one of those people who deserves to be happy in life. I knew that. He was right. She wasn't supposed to die. There was no reason she deserved to die. She was killed only because she had learned Serika's secret. No, what was her real goal? I remembered what Kunosawa-san had asked me this afternoon. What was she really after? I almost screamed as I heard a loud noise coming from inside my bag. It was the sound of my phone vibrating. I quickly flipped over the bag and spilled its contents onto the floor. I picked the phone up off the floor and read the words, "Unlisted caller" in the darkness. That was kind of creepy. I did not have a good feeling about this. Afraid, I touched the answer button. Who's there?
There's one thing I forgot to tell you.
You... I moved the phone away from my ear in surprise. It was Serika. There was no mistaking it. I checked the time on the phone without even thinking about it. 10:03.
Listen carefully. This won't take long.
Why are you... I realized how hard my heart was beating, and I put the phone back up to my ear.
そんなことは
That
どうで
doesn't
も
matter.
I heard a sudden, abrupt noise. Had she dropped her phone? Or had something happened to her? I listened carefully so as to not miss a single sound. My hands were shaking violently. I hated it. And after I waited a moment,
宮代
Mishira,
聞いてい
are
る
you
か
listening?
her voice was now weak and feeble. Something was off about the way she was acting.
聞いてる。
I'm listening. What is
なん
it?
だよ。
一つ
There's something I forgot to
言
tell
い
you.
忘れたことがあってな
It was the same thing she just said.
おい、
Hey,
どう
what's
したんだ？
wrong? Why?
お前
I
の
was the
両
one who
親を
killed your
殺
parents.
したのは
I could
私
hear
だ
the sounds of the words she'd said, but I couldn't understand the meaning of the words themselves. For some reason, my hands stopped shaking, and it suddenly seemed like everything around me had faded away in a white blur. What?
Hmm?
The words got stuck in my throat. I couldn't speak at all.
6年前
6 years ago, during the Shibuya earthquake, I was the one who killed your real parents at that evacuation shelter.
Once again, I could hear the words, but I didn't understand them. 6 years ago, Shibuya earthquake, shelter, real parents.
Huh?
What? My cheeks suddenly felt hot, and my blurry vision came back into focus in the dark room. Only then did I realize what she'd said. But what I felt wasn't rage.
なんだ
Why? It was an important event from my past, but one I'd totally forgotten. My parents hadn't died in the earthquake. Someone had murdered them at the shelter. It was what Nono had refused to tell me when I'd just woken up from my coma. That was why she lied to me. And that was the reason why I ran from our dorm and went to live in Miyashita Park.
なんで
Why? I repeated myself. Why would she do that? Why would she tell me that now of all times? All I could hear was her pained breathing. I kept waiting anyway. I couldn't hang up the call.
今
I had to tell you now.
伝えなければ
I
いけな
forgot to
か
tell
っ
you.
だから
But why?
なんでなんだよ
I yelled at Serica as she repeated herself.
おい
Hey,
Onoe.
Onoe!
おのえ
Onoe! Suddenly the call ended. She'd hung up. I tried to call back and realized it was impossible. It was an unlisted number.
一体何なん
What
だ
the hell was that about? I whispered, knowing I wouldn't get an answer. Seriously, what the hell? What was the point of calling me like that? No, there was a bigger question. Why?
おのえは
Why was Serica
何のため
born?
に生まれたんだ
On that day, I ran into my parents at the evacuation shelter by chance. Right after that, I had a terrible headache. That was probably the moment when Serica was born. I know that my parents were murdered at that very same shelter. Which means she murdered them immediately after I created them. My thoughts were a mess, and it was hard to think straight. Something told me that I had to figure this out. Serica said that her purpose in life was to keep me alive. But would killing my parents really make that easier? Mom and Dad were trying to take me and evacuate to a supposedly safer place. Killing them would make me less likely to survive, not more. Just like Kunosato-san said, it doesn't make sense. That's right. What Serica told me doesn't make sense. The very first thing she did after being bored contradicts what she told me. Which means
あいつの目的は
her real goal
僕
wasn't
を生
to
かし
keep me
続けるこ
alive?
とじゃない
Suddenly I found myself looking at the picture on my phone. It was a photo of me and my family from our dorm. This contradiction also applies to her attack against Nono too. Sure, she did manage to figure out who Serica really was. But if Serica's goal really was to keep me alive, would killing Nono really make that easier? Nono always tried her best to protect me. She even risked her life to do so. which would mean that for Erica, it would have been better to keep her alive. She could just use mind control to alter her memories about her real identity, just like she did with Ito. So why didn't she just do that? Why did she have to kill Nono? Does she have some other goal? And is that why she had to take Nono's life? I could feel a certain desire welling up within me. One I hadn't felt in a long, long time. If that really is the case, then I have to find out why. I'll find out if my ridiculous idea is really true. And for that to happen, I have to go there. No matter how things might end up.
本気かよ
Am I serious about this?
僕は
I checked the time on my phone again. 10:10. I keep hitting that. There were 18 minutes left until the moment when everything began. I laughed a little and ran my hand along Nono's desk again. Was I betraying Nono again? If she was still alive, would she have slapped me across the face if she found out about it?
ごめん
I'm sorry.
でもお前
But you know, you did too. You lied too in the end. You lied to protect me. So I'm going to do the same. Because this is about you. And you mean everything to me. This is about the reason why you died.
何も知らなくていい
I
なん
need
て
to know the truth. I was lying when I said I
そんなのごま
didn't.
かしたよ
Of course, thinking about what I was about to do terrified me. But I wasn't going to change my mind no matter what. Hey. Surprisingly, it was Arimura, not Nono, who slapped me. She hit me so hard that the impact traveled all the way into my ears and made them ring.
バカ言わないで
Don't be stupid. Who do you think you're
何
trying to
かっこつけてるん
impress?
ですか何笑ってるん
What
で
are
す
you laughing at?
いや
Nothing.
やっぱり
You're
そうだよ
right.
な
I put my hand on my cheek where she'd struck me, and it felt a little hot. I laughed because it hadn't hurt as hard as when Nono did it. Nono was used to slapping people in the face, after all. Or maybe she was just really strong. But Arimura seemed to think I was laughing because I wasn't worried at all. Her shoulders shook more violently with rage.
危険すぎます
It's too dangerous. You don't know what you're planning. They're planning.
話を聞きに行くだけ
I'm
だ
just going to hear what she
多
has
分
to say.
大丈夫だと思う
It should be fine.
そんな嘘
Don't
つか
lie
な
to
い
me.
でくださ
You
い
know that won't work.
Arimura was out of breath and seriously angry. She was really worried about me.
タクルさん
Takuru-san,
Uki and Yuta were standing next to her, looking worried. I kneeled down so I was at their height.
安心してくれ
Don't worry.
話を
It's
聞きに
true
行
that
く
I'm
だ
going
け
to
ってい
hear
う
what
の
she
は
has to
本当
say.
だから
でもその先は
I cannot stop.
お前は多分
But what came after that's a lie, right? You'll probably be killed if you go.
久野里さん
Kunosawa-san. Of course I knew that. There was a good chance I'd be killed. And Dad would be the one who killed me. But I wished that she wouldn't have said that in front of Uki and Yuto.
お前は喧嘩すらしたことがない
You never haven't been in a fight before.
違うか
Am I wrong?
はい
Yes,
Demo.
but I had to go. I knew in my head that it was stupid, and my heart was filled with terror. But there was something even deeper that pushed me forward.
クルス先輩は
Kurusa-senpai
そんな
wouldn't
こと
want
絶
that.
対に
I
望
know
んで
that for
な
a
い
fact.
What?
ウキから
Uki,
手
Tell
紙
me
の
about
こ
the
とを聞いた
letter.
んです
そっか
I see.
クルス先輩の気
are
持
you
ち
just going to forget about everything
踏
she
みにじ
wanted?
るんですか
そうだな
Yeah, you're
あい
right.
つきっと怒ると
She'd
思
be
うけ
really
ど
mad. And she'd probably slap me hard across the face just like Arimura did.
でも
But I'm going anyway. Arimura looked like she was about to raise her hand again. But then she stopped, clenched into a fist, and lowered it. Her eyes were a little red as she glared at me.
なんで
Why?
そんな
Why?
ごめん
I'm sorry. Her voice was so soft I could barely hear it. I lowered my head, unable to even look at her.
ウキとユウトのこと
Take care of Uki and
頼
Yuto,
むな。
okay?
知りません。
That's not my problem. You're the last son of the family, right? That means you need to come back safe, even
自
be
分
their
でお
big
兄ちゃんを
brother.
やってください。
You're terrible, she whispered as she left the room. Ugh. Someone suddenly waved something in front of my face, and I leapt back. Kazuki had come up next to me. I wasn't sure when. She always surprised me like this.
お前
You're still here?
まだい
I can't leave you all here, her face seemed to say. Lollipop supply. She was holding pieces of candy on sticks. Lollipops? How many of these did she have? I couldn't refuse her, so I took them and put them in my pocket. I'd probably never eat them, though.
最後まで
Sorry
付き合わ
for
せて
getting
悪いな
involved in this.
ウキたち
Yeah,
のこ
keep
と
an eye
は
on
見送っ
Uki
て
and
やって
Yuto
くれ
until they go.
そうした
After
ら
that,
気をつけて帰れ
Take
よ
care of yourself on the way back home. I didn't think she'd do it, but I didn't want her going with the two of them. I'd feel terrible for her family if that happened. She nodded like she always did. I tried to make sure that was a yes, but before I could, she ran out of the room after Arimura. Kunosana-san was here too, so it would be okay, right? She would make it home, right?
タクル兄ちゃん。
Big bro.
Yuta spoke up, afraid, as he saw me watch her go. To be honest, I wasn't sure what to say. I felt like anything I could say would just make him even more nervous. I tried to choose my words carefully, but in the end, this was all I could come up with.
行ってくれ
I'm
後で
leaving.
必ずユウトたちと合流
I'll
するから
catch up with you guys later. I could tell from his face that he realized it was one of the white lies that adults often told children. But he didn't say anything. He just looked at me with eyes that were redder than Arimura's.
いってらっしゃい。
Goodbye.
待って
We'll
ま
be
すから
waiting for you.
あ
Yeah.
ずっと待
We'll
って
wait
ます
for
か
you
ら。
as long as it takes.
あ
Yeah.
僕も待ってる。
I'll be waiting too. For as
Zutto.
long as it takes.
あ
Yeah. Maybe Yuki's hand holding his gave him strength. Because he finally forced himself to say one last thing. I'm sorry, Yuto. And thank you, Uki.
じゃあ
Okay,
行ってくれ
I'm off. I checked the time. There wasn't much time left. And if I stayed here any longer, my resolve would begin to waver. I nodded one last time at the two of them, then turned around. It was decided that Shinjo-san would drive me to the Hikaribo. I wanted him to take the others to Akihabara as soon as possible, but I didn't see how I could get through the area around Shibuya Station on my own.
宮代。
Mishiro! As I left to get in the car, Kunosana-san called for me from behind.
スマホは持っているな。
You got your phone, right? I put my hand inside my pocket to check. Of course, it was there.
持ってますけど
I do. Why?
何でもいい。
If you learn any information on the committee, no matter what it is, contact me immediately. I chuckled. That was exactly what I expected her to say. I didn't know if I'd learned anything, but I promised her anyway.
尾上からは。
I know he told me to get you
お
out of
前を渋谷
Shibuya.
から出し、それを承諾した
I
のは
agreed because she told me that if I got the psychics out of Shibuya, it could get me closer to the
委
committee.
員会に。
はい
Yeah.
かといって。
But you said if you decide not to
お
go,
前
there's
自
no
身が
reason
そ
for me
れ
to
に
stop
逆ら
you.
う決断
I
を
have no
するの
special
な
need for
ら
you in particular. As long as I
それを
have
止める
Yamazawa
義
and
理はない。
Arimura, that's enough.
別に。
ねえそうですね
Yeah, you're right. I knew that from the start. If getting a psychic out of Shibuya would cause something to happen, then Uki and Arimura would do just as well as I would.
だから、
So we're not waiting for you, okay?
お前のことは待た
The
ない
words seemed to be testing my resolve one last time. That's why I looked her dead in the eye and answered.
構いません
That's
分
fine.
かってますから
I understand. But for a while after that, she said nothing. She seemed to be, for once, at a loss for words. I frowned. Did she not like that answer?
何か
There's something wrong. About what you were saying before.
お前の
She finally opened her mouth, hesitantly. She was probably talking about the call I'd gotten from Siddharka. When she told me that she was the one who killed my parents.
それが事実だと
If
する
that
な
really is true.
何ですか
What?
何か
Did you figure something
思い
out?
当たることでも
いや
No. Kunosana-san probably found Serika's words strange, just like I did. They didn't make sense. And Kunosana-san probably had a theory of her own, one she was reluctant to share. But in the end, the only thing she did was put her hand on my shoulder without saying a word. Until now, all she ever done was grab me or choke me, so I was shocked. I never expected this.
どの道
Either way,
お前が
you
確
should
か
find
め
the
るべき
answer
こ
for
とだ
yourself. Whatever you do, make sure that you don't
せいぜい
regret
悔いの
it.
ないようにするんだな
And the words she said were different than usual, too. Kunosana-san is actually saying something nice to me. A psychic, of all people.
なんだ
What?
え
Huh?
あい
Oh,
えその
no. I was so surprised that I ended up saying something I shouldn't have.
ど
If
どうせなら
you're gonna send me off, I'd
ケイさんの
prefer
締めの
you
一
do
言
it
でお願い
with
します
Kei-san's closing line. I listen to your podcast.
ふざけるな
Hell no. I refuse to play the role of
情
that
報
goody
操作の放送
a
以
goody
外で
suck up when I'm not
あ
trying to
んな
manipulate
八方美人
information.
な人
Now
間を
get
演じる
going.
のはごめんだとっとと行け
She pushed me away with the hand she'd placed on my shoulder. I suddenly felt really embarrassed. Why did I say that? I was so embarrassed that I tried to hurry into the car. Then Kunosana-san looked at me and said,
どうしても聞きたいなら
"You really want to hear Kei again? Wait
次
until the
の
next
放送まで
broadcast."
待つんだな
I turned around and looked at her face one more time. Her features were elegant, and her beautiful almond-shaped eyes were always frozen cold. They never betrayed what she was really thinking. Her personality was as cold as ice, which was fitting as of a dedicated scientist who was willing to do whatever it took to achieve her goal, regardless of the cost. But sometimes, I caught a glimpse of some burning passion inside her. She really was a mysterious girl. Oh, right. There's one last thing I have to ask her. Since this might really be my last chance.
なんだ
What?
人
Why
の
are you
顔を
staring
じ
at
っと見
me?
て
Kunosato さんは
Kunosana-san.
何の能
What's your
力を持
power?
ってるんですか
Yeah, it hasn't really fully escaped my notice. Don't think I ever forgot about the fact that you had a D-sword in your room.
なんだと
What did you say? The distance between us had started to shrink, but it grew back with that one question. I felt all the air around me freeze. I panicked.
だって見た
Well,
ん
I
ですよ
saw it in your room.
Kunosato さんの部屋で
何をだ
Saw what?
ディソードっ
A
てさ
D-sword. That was
あれは
yours, right?
クノサトさんのもの
は
Huh? As I thought things between us would end with another series of cold insults from her, Kunosama-san started to laugh. She kept laughing in a low voice as I stood there with my mouth hanging open. All I could do was stand there and watch. I never imagined that Kunosama-san of all people could laugh like that.
お前
Are you really a
本当に
gigalomaniac?
真のギガロマ
I
ニアッ
can't,
クス
you
な
can't
の
even
か
tell the difference between a fake and the
本
real
物と
thing.
偽物の区別
偽物
A fake.
あれはただのレプ
That's
リカ
just a
だ
replica I have for research
研
purposes.
究用
My
の
lab in
な
America made it based off some documents from
6
6
年
years
前の資
ago.
料を取り寄せてばらつきがあるにし
There's
ろ
an attempt to find out why, even if the shapes may vary, all the pipes to the
な
dark
ぜ
sea take
剣
the
と
form
い
of
う
a sword.
形を取るの
But
か
it didn't work, so they gave me this useless
その
piece of
解明
junk.
をしようとしたが無駄だった
Assuming you're telling the truth,
廃
would
棄さ
that
れたガ
explain
ラクタ
why
を押
that
し付けられたわ
sword
け
looked
だ
a lot like Sarah's, I think was her name? Or what was her name from Chaos Head Noah? Purple hair girl.
あんなもの
It's not good for anything
邪魔
but
にな
taking
って
up
仕
space.
方ないが
And I do use it as a way of to hang things up to dry.
物干し代わりに使っている
And then she laughed again. After she was done laughing, she pushed me into the car. And before she closed the door,
ああそうだ
"Oh right, your classmate.
お前
Ito
の
was
同
it?
級生
Looks like he'll survive."
伊藤だったか
Oh,
忘れてる
you
よう
seem to
だ
have forgotten, but you promised to be my guinea
それ
pig
と
in
引き換え
exchange.
にその約束
So come back and
戻っ
keep
て
your
きて
promise.
ちゃんと果たせよ
Then she closed the door. I nodded from behind the window and mouthed the words thank you for everything. Everyone really was trying to make me feel better. Everyone really did want to see me again. But now I was going alone down a path that meant that might never happen. We want to know the truth.
静かだな。
It's quiet, huh?
はい。
Yeah. Shinjo-san had whispered that to himself from the driver's seat. The Shibuya intersection was overflowing with people. They were all looking up at the footage of Memorial Park being displayed on the big TV screens. The time was 10:21 p.m. 7 minutes until the time when the earthquake hit 6 years ago. When the time arrived, there would be a moment of silent prayer, and the festival would reach its finale. Everyone at the festival seemed to be heading to the park, or the intersection in front of the station, to participate. I could see a man who looked like a member of the city council on the screen. From the subtitles, he seemed to be giving a speech about the restoration project.
ち、まただ。
Not again.
頭を下
Get
げ
your
ろ。
head down.
はい。
Okay. Shinjo-san had gotten this car just to take us out of Shibuya. The windows were tinted, so I didn't have to worry about anyone seeing me. But there was no way to hide from anyone looking at me from the front. Just in case, I kept myself as far down in the space below the sea as I could. We'd run into a lot of roadblocks once we entered this area, with the volunteer staff stopping us from going forward. Each time Shinjo-san had shown his police notebook and explained that this was a police car, and each time they'd let us through. But that meant it was taking twice as long than usual.
ギリギリ。
Nearly
という
close.
か、
We might not actually make it by
28分には
10:28.
間に合わんかもしれないぞ。
Shinjo-san said as he slowly weaved the car through the crowds of people.
いえ、
No,
送っていただくだ
I'm
けで
just
あり
grateful
が
you're
たいで
giving
す
me a。lift. I never would have made it to the Hikariwa on my own.
時間を過ぎれば、
If you
佐
get
久
there
間と
later
鉢
than
合わせ
that,
する可能性は
you're
高く
more
な
likely
る。
to run to Sakuma.
それでも、
You're
行くん
going
だな。
anyway, right?
はい。
Yeah. I could see Shinjo-san's face in the rearview mirror. He put his fingers up to the bridge of his nose, and his expression was pained.
警察官としては、
As a policeman, this is
最
the
悪の
worst
行
thing
為
I
だ
could。possibly do.
命
I'm
の危
sending a
険があ
minor
る
into
と
a
ころに
dangerous
未
situation.
成年を送りと。佐久間がシアター
If
キ
he's
ュ
in
ー
the
ブにい
theater
るのな
car,
ら、
I'd like to go
一緒
with
に
you
乗り
and
込んで
arrest him,
拘束し
but
た
I
い
don't
か
have
ら
anything that proves his guilt.
だが、上層部にも圧
And
力が
someone's
かかって
putting
いる。
pressure on the higher-ups in the police department, too. It's like a
安
cheap
物の刑事
detective
ドラマ
drama.
だな。
委員会っていうのは、
Is the committee
そ
really
んな
that
に強い
powerful?
権力を持っ
詳しいことは
Almost
ほ
no
と
one
んど
knows
誰
the
も知らない。
details.
いや、
The person who did was probably buried and
Shit,
forgotten.
闇に葬られてきた。
Irritated, Shinjo-san swerved the car around a group of pedestrians that were standing in the middle of the street. I ducked down so that I couldn't be spotted from outside, and it was a little cramped.
昼間言ってた新庄
Was
さ
that
ん
the
の
person you
先
were
輩
talking
の
about
ですか？
this afternoon? I remember him talking about that to Sarika. About how this case was his way of avenging a detective he respected a lot. Shinjo-san ignored me and kept looking forward. I felt like his silence was his way of saying yes. Ishiro! Huh?
なんだ？
What? Shinjo-san lowered the window just a crack to hear what was going on outside. Where are you? It's almost over! Everyone's gonna think you're a screw-up. Miyashiro, Taku, come out!
酔っ払いか。
Just a bunch of drunks. In front of us, by the side of the road, was a van advertising the Restoration Festival. A group of people had climbed on top of it. They must have been college age, and they were holding beers in their hands.
情弱。
Wrong siders, huh? Hearing them or even seeing them was upsetting. I leaned back into the seat, closed my eyes, and lowered my head again.
久野里さんも。
Kunosawa-san uses that word too sometimes. Shinjo-san closed the window and started to drive away from all the commotion.
情弱。
Wrong siders. Means on the wrong side of the information divide, right?
え
Yeah. I watched all the drunks pass by the other side of the tinted windows.
彼らは知らないし、
They don't know
知ろ
anything.
うとしないんです。
They don't want to know anything.
自分たちが煽って
They
る
don't
相手
know
のこと
about the
も。
people manipulating them,
その相手が
or
どんな
what those
気持ち
people
なのか。
want, or what the people they're talking about are even going through. Violence, murder, the darkness in the human heart. They think they understand these things because they read or hear about them, but they don't ever think about what they must really be like.
君は
Ever since I
会った
first
時
met
か
you,
ら
I
知
could
る
tell
という
knowing
行
was
為
very
にこだわ
important
っ
to
てい
you.
たな。
と
First time I met Shinjo-san wasn't... When was it?
ラブホテルの事件の時
During the Love Hotel case.
君
You
たち
broke
が
into the
勝手
crime
に
scene
現
on
場に
your
入
own.
り込んでいた。
Oh. He was right. Shinjo-san was the one in charge of that case, and that's how we'd met.
これから尾上に会おうとしてい
You're
る
gonna
の
go see Inoue because there's something
何
you
か
want
を
to
知
know,
るため
right?
なんだろう。
はい
Yes. I had to know what Serica was really after, and the real reason she'd come into existence.
そうか
That's
言って
right.
みれば
You could
自
say
分
that
の
I'm
ことを
going to
知るため
find
な
out
んだ
about myself. What did I wish for during that earthquake? What wish had I created her? I realized for the first time that I was trying to find out more about myself than Serica.
先輩も
That's the same kind of person he was. Huh? He looked in the rearview mirror again. Shinjo-san was still watching the traffic in front of him.
とにかく
That detective,
知ろうとするこ
he
と
was
に対
obsessed
し
with
て
finding
貪
things
欲な
out.
人だった。
He was willing to do whatever it
そ
took,
のため
even
な
if it meant going against the
世
rest of the
間の
police
常
force.
識もよく
Momose-san used to get mad at him all the
しい。
time. She said he was getting in too deep.
そうだったん
I see.
ですか
Shinjo-san's voice took on a strangely different tone. His tone changed from one of nostalgia to one of sorrow.
そして
And then,
先輩は
he finally did get
突
in
っ
too
走り
deep.
すぎた。
Yep. He's 100% talking about bannings. That was the answer to his silence before, too. Was he killed by the committee?
先輩の最後を
I
俺
don't
は
know
よ
how
く
he
知らな
died,
い。
but
た
he
だ
must have been satisfied.
先輩は
At
満足
least,
だった。
I don't think he had any regrets.
少なくとも。でもな。
But still,
だからといって
that
先
doesn't
輩
mean
の
I
死
could
を
just
認
accept
め
his
るわけ
death.
にはいかない。
I couldn't get to him in time,
俺
and
は
I
先
couldn't
輩に
stop
追い
him.
つけなかったし、
It's
止めることもできなかった。
frustrating.
クルス・ノノさんがここにい
If
れば
Kurusu Nono was here, I'm sure she'd be feeling the same way about you.
同じように。
I fell silent. There was nothing I could say. But I was truly glad that he was the one who had read Nono's letter, and that he was the one who was now helping me. When I reached the Hikariwo, I realized that something was wrong. It was too quiet. Normally, even at this hour, the Hikariwo would be fairly noisy, but it was completely silent. There were no murmurs, no drunken shouting like I'd heard just a moment before.
始まっちまったか。
Started, huh? Oh. I checked the time. 10:28 p.m. Everyone had gathered in front of the Memorial Park, or the TVs in front of the station, for a silent prayer. Shinjo-san switched the car's navigation system to TV mode. It was displaying footage of the Memorial Park. I saw the ceremony and gasped. All the sound was gone from Shibuya. It was like a movie set. Suddenly I was struck by a terror even greater than before. It felt like the moment of silence was for me, as I headed to my death. I forced myself to smile and tried to tell myself that I was shaking from excitement, not fear. My mind was a confused jumble of thoughts. Half me wanted to go home and half me wanted to stay. But I forced myself to keep going. Yeah. I have to know. No matter what. Shinjo-san tossed something at me.
何ですか
What is it?
これ
Wait, is this? I felt the sensation of rubber as I grabbed it. I tried to spread it out and stopped.
皮肉な話だが、
Ironically, this is all you've got with me.
手近にこれしかなかった。
I've got with me.
我慢
I
して
hope
くれ
it's。enough.
いえ
Yeah,
ありがとうございます
thank you. I lowered my head in thanks. There were still people standing between me and the theater cub.
すまないな。
Sorry,
俺はこ
this
こ
is
ま
as
で
far
だ。
as I can go. I need to get
おき
the
くん
yards
た
out
ち
of
を
the city.
そろそろ
He looked at his watch.
分かってます
I know.
急いで
Get them
彼
to
女たち
Akiba
を
as fast as
秋
you
葉へ
can.
お願いし
Thank
ま
you.
す
送り届けたら
Once they're
俺
safe,
は
I'll
すぐ
come
に
back
戻っ
for
て
you.
くる。
Don't die.
死ぬなよ。
はい
Right. I wiped my sweaty hands off my pants and nodded. And I took a deep breath to calm myself down. I put on the sumo sticker mask that Shinjo-san had given me and stepped out into a Shibuya utterly without sound. The silent prayer was continuing, and this was my chance. Several people looked at me as I got out of the car, but they must have been used to seeing the people in the masks. They quickly lost interest and lowered their heads once more. Everything was fine. They hadn't figured out who I was. Here we go. I looked up to the Hikari-wo building, which towered above me like some kind of fortress. The people around me had all seemed suspicious, but I made it to the theater floor without anyone saying anything. But then I realized that something was wrong and stopped. There was no one on the floor. There was no customers, and not even a single employee. Even the convenience store, which was open during the festival, was empty. I took off the mask. My field of vision restored, and I took another look around the floor. I was right. It was completely empty. There were no sign of Dad or Serica either. The whole soundless space in front of me felt like a trap that I just walked into. I'd taken the mask off, but it still hurt to breathe. I tossed the mask into one of the decorative trees nearby and slowly started to walk across the floor. Every shadow scared me. Each time I reached a blind spot, I would stare at it for a moment before I proceeded. There was the entrance to the theater.
Huh?
Oh. When I found the stairs and escalator, I felt a wave of nostalgia. This is where I'd come with the rest of Albadorm. That's right. We got up the stairs and into the theater. I flinched as the escalator started to move. Don't scare me like that. It was just a motion detector. I knew that. But the machine seemed to be pulling me deeper into a trap. I looked up to the top of this escalator. There was no one there. Damn it. I smacked my trembling legs with trembling hands, then slowly went up the stairs. This was the path that led to the theater, and it was probably leading me to the finale that either Dad or Serica had prepared for me. And I was probably doing exactly what one of them wanted. I had to find Serica and the answer. And there was no way that desire was in anyone's script. I believed it was my own idea. I had to find out the truth. For Nono's sake as much as my own. Here we go. I went up to the entrance of the theater and put my hand on the heavy door. We're here. I felt a stabbing pain in my head the second I went inside. I staggered and leaned against the back of a nearby chair. What? This can't be. I forced myself to endure the pain and look around the theater. The theater was done up in a modern style, with stadium seating. The stage was at the lowest point in the hall, and the seats got higher up the further you went away, so it would be easier for the audience to see. The entrance was at the far back, behind the seats. When I looked down, I could see the whole room. The stage was completely empty. There were no props or backgrounds. The lights were focused on the stage, so the rest of the theater was dark and hard to see. The seats seemed empty too. I couldn't see anyone. I couldn't hear any movement either. My first suspicion was Dad's mind control power. But if his power worked like ours, that meant he would need to share his delusions with me in order to reboot them. In other words, if what I was seeing was due to mind control, Dad had to be watching me from somewhere nearby. That's right. I suddenly got an idea and looked through my pockets. A lollipop. I found the lollipop that Kazuki had given me. I tossed it up and imagined it floating in the air. But instead of floating, it fell down into the thin row between the seats.
Yosh.
Good. I sighed with relief and satisfied with what I'd seen. It was impossible for us to use our powers alone. If my psychokinesis wasn't working, it meant that there was no one else here. But I still kept my guard up as I walked toward the stage. If I remembered right, this place hadn't changed since the last time I was here. Come to think of it, if I'd come here to celebrate my acceptance to Hekio Academy, it It had only been 2.5 years since I'd last been here.
嘘だろ
That can't be right.
そんなの
It didn't seem real. It felt like so much more time had passed. Everything had changed. Nono and Yui were gone. Yuto had probably left his home and was on his way to Akihabara with Shinjo right now. And Dad. What was that? Suddenly I heard a sound come from behind me and spun around. Standing there was... Anoe.
お前
You. She looked just like she had when I'd seen her this morning. Not only was she not hurt, there were no signs that she'd even fought someone. Sarika waited for the door as she'd come through to close, and then slowly walked towards me.
なぜここにいる
Why are you here?
Her voice was quiet, but angry. She probably thought that I'd left Shibuya by now.
父さんは
Where's Dad?
死んだよ
Dead.
Huh?
舞台裏に
You'll
頭
find
だ
a
け
severed
転
head
がって
lying
い
on the
る
ground
半分
backstage.
潰れてい
It's
て
been partially
分かり
crushed
に
though,
くい
so
わ
it
な
might be hard to recognize.
The look on my face must have been ridiculous. Sarika's voice was completely calm, and it was hard to believe she was lying. Dad was dead. Really?
お前が
Did you
殺した
kill
のか
him? Her nod silently said, Of course I did.
それで
So,
なぜここ
why are
に
you
いるん
here?
だ
Where are
久野
Kunosawa,
里美
Mio,
代
and
た
the
ちはどう
others?
した
How could she be so calm after killing someone? It was terrifying to see how unconcerned she was. My thoughts, my feelings, and even my words were all just a jumbled mess. But I managed to tell her that Shinjo-san had taken care of everyone else out of Shibuya by now. And then I told her why I came here. Oh boy.
お前
Why did you tell me about that on the phone? What did I wish for when you were
生ま
born?
れてきたんだよ
Sarika looked at me like she was staring at something very dear to her. I knew this feeling. Sarika was reading my mind. There it is. Suddenly it appeared. Its design was far too complicated and intricate to be called a sword. It was sharp like metal, but had a strange luster that was all its own. It was a D-sword, big enough to cover Sarika's entire upper body. It was what she'd used to kill Nono.
You should have escaped with the others, Mishiro Takaru.
逃げるべきだったんだ宮
Behind
代
her blade, I
拓
could see a slight change in her expression.
お前
Anoe? It was the same look I'd seen before when she was talking about Dad. As if she hated everything she saw. Right as she jumped, I felt a burning heat in my right shoulder and fell to the ground. A moment later, I felt a pain like nothing I'd ever experienced before. I grabbed my shoulder with my left hand and felt something nasty, warm and sticky. It was blood. I'd been cut. If I'd reacted even a moment later, she would have chopped my entire shoulder off. I looked up. Sarika was already bringing her blade down. I forced myself to twist out of the way, ignoring the blood spurting from my shoulder. This time the pain was in my left leg. I ignored it too, trying my best to get away. Sarika walked over to me, slowly. I must have bit something in my mouth when I rolled because I tasted something bitter and metallic. Why?
手遅れだっ
I was too
た
late.
私が委員
I
会を甘
underestimated
く
the
見て
committee.
Sarika stopped, close enough to strike me with her D-sword and began to speak.
佐久間に代わる人
Sakuma's
間が
replacement already
もう
made
私
contact
に
with
接
me.
触してきた。
There's nowhere left to
す
run.
でに逃げ場はない。お前を生かし続
I
ける
can't
ことは
keep you alive.
できない。お前を
I
こ
don't
れま
want
で
you
の
to
事
end
件
up
の
like
被
the other
害者のよう
victims.
にはさせたくないんだ。
No way. So now she's going to kill me. The same way that she killed Nono with that D-sword. The pain from the cuts kept me from thinking, and the blood loss drained away my will to resist. I couldn't feel my left leg anymore. But I couldn't stop looking at Serica. I wasn't sure. Were there any more important blood vessels around the calves?
私もすぐに
I'll be joining you soon.
向こうで話
Let's
そう。
talk on the other side.
Serica swung her D-sword at me again. And then, I felt something burst within me. I leapt at Serica. I reached out my hand without thinking and felt something warm and rough. I heard her scream in my ears. By the time I'd realized I'd reached into the cut on her stomach and ripped out the stitches, I was already on top of her. Her D-sword disappeared. My hands went straight for her neck. My fingers dug into her flesh. The only thing I saw was the color red dripping down the base of her neck. Was it my blood from when she cut my shoulder? Or hers from when I ripped open her stomach? Or had my nails broken the skin on her neck? Whatever it was red. And it was spreading. I couldn't stop myself from gripping tighter. My fingers dug deeper and deeper, and the soft sensation of her skin began to recede. Instead, I felt thick muscle and hard bone. When it was all over, the pain in my leg and shoulder were gone. No. They were still there, but it didn't feel like my own pain. It was like I was watching myself on top of Serica from a distance. But when I took my hands off her neck, that feeling disappeared and everything else came flooding back. Serica's eyes had rolled up into her head, and her tongue was sticking out of her mouth. I felt an unpleasant wetness in my underwear, as her blood from where I'd sat on her. The blood was pouring out from the gash in her stomach. Serica wasn't moving anymore. Did I just kill her? Did I strangle her to death? I suddenly felt the urge to vomit. Why? Why was I on top of Serica? Why are my hands covered in blood? My head hurt. My field of vision went red. My heart was pounding hard, and under me was the body of the girl I created. I held my head with my bloody hands. It hurt so much that it felt like I was going to explode. My eyes hurt too. Everything was turning red. Huh? It was all delusion. Suddenly my vision cleared up. The lights above the stage seemed impossibly bright, like the sun at the end of the tunnel. I felt pain in my eyes. I reached my hand up to them and saw that my fingers were covered in pink tears. That was when I realized Serga wasn't here. My hands weren't covered in blood. I twisted my neck to look up my shoulder. My clothes weren't even cut. There wasn't a single wound on my leg either. What just happened? I was sitting on the ground, alone by the seats near the entrance.
Man, you're such an asshole, you know that? I didn't raise you to be like that.
I leaped up to my feet. You. Where are you? There you are. Dad. Dad was up on the stage. He was standing in the center like the lead singer at a musical. And at his feet was... Hanoi! Serika, the girl I thought I'd just killed, was lying at his seat. There was no blood on her clothes, and the cut on her stomach hadn't even been torn open. But she must have been unconscious because she wasn't moving.
Even right when you were about to kill her in that delusion, she didn't resist at all. Ain't that cute?
I suddenly understood what was going on. Mind control. But since when? Was I already under its effects when I came into the theater? When I came inside, I'd felt a sharp pain and my vision had blurred for a moment. When I tested my powers with the lollipop, was I already under a spell? The pain and heat had felt so real, but it was all an illusion. But I could still feel the sensation of wringing Serika's neck in my hands.
And if you just let her kill you, your heart would have been shattered too.
Dad tapped his own heart.
You killed her instead. What's up with that, Takaru? Girls don't like boys who get violent.
Hearing Dad talk in the same tone he always did was almost enough to get me to let my guard down. But this wasn't the man I knew. The man on the stage wasn't the Dad I knew. What is that machine? I took a good look at it. Dad was wearing some kind of rucksack, and I could see some kind of device inside of it. What is he carrying? Dad was also wearing a piece of headgear that was connected to it. And the long cylindrical machine he was holding was connected to it by a cord. So that's it. If he has psychic powers like we do, then he has to have one too. What? That must be Dad's D-sword. What a strange blade. It's like a great sword. It's almost more beautiful looking than the others. It feels more put together than a lot of the other ones, more cohesive. More understandable, I guess. Why does he have one? I thought that those powers only appeared in brains that were still developing during the earthquake. My research has shown that this only occurred in the young, whose brains that were still developing, particularly those experiencing something that put them into states of extreme stress. That's what Kurosawa-san had said.
Oh, this?
That's what I was looking at and tapped his rucksack with his D-sword.
Amazing, huh? One of the results of our research. It lets even normal people like me have powers similar to a Gigomaniac's. This was a terminal for a certain machine. But that machine used to be here, but it ran some trouble. And that's what caused the earthquake. Those were bad times.
That sounded like a child whose favorite toy had been broken. It was clear he didn't care at all about the people who died or whose lives had been ruined by the earthquake.
Because of that, I lost my job. No money, no employees. It took me 6 years to rebuild the thing. Those idiots in the committee.
So that was how he'd been able to do that to Ito. And how he'd been able to kill Yui. I felt a mix of rage, sorrow, and hate. All the feelings were so strong I wanted to scream.
Well, it doesn't matter. Once I deal with you, I can go back to my research.
It was like he was picking just the right words to make me even angrier.
To be honest, I was a little worried. I know I came here on her own. I needed you, not her, so I thought I had a problem with my hands.
He looked down at her and poked her with the artificial D-sword. She still didn't move. It can't be. Is Serica?
She's dead, obviously.
Funny, ain't it, he seemed to say.
I made her fight you in an illusion. She realized it was all mind control halfway through, so she put her D-sword away and didn't resist right up until the moment you killed her. It's amazing how much she cared about you.
He kicked her hard enough that she turned over. Stop it.
You, though, you were amazing. You were consumed with rage over losing Nono. I just gave that a little boost, and then you killed her without any mercy. It's amazing how much you cared about Nono, too.
I could feel my whole body getting hot. Stop it. Don't you dare say Nono's name. Not with that face, not with that voice.
何
What the hell are you thinking?
考えてんだよ
Huh?
The way Dad's expression didn't change at all only made me angrier. Did he really not understand? We'd all lived out together for years, hadn't we? We'd come here as a family, hadn't we? Yuto and Uki are worried about you.
ユウトとウキは
Oh, what? You haven't told them yet.
ユイ
We
だっ
always
て
trusted you.
ずっとあんたを信頼してた
And no.
それに
Started with what you said when I was helping Tucker with his physical therapy. You're doing a great job for someone who hasn't gone to school. I'm impressed. I'm sure that's just the way Father is. I love the rules you made for our family. Thank you. Please don't drink too much.
信じて
She
たんだ
believes in you. She thought you were part of our family, so what the hell are you thinking?
なのに何考えてたよ
My words echoed off the walls of the theater and came back to me again and again. And then I realized that I was the same way. I had believed in Dad too from the bottom of my heart. But he... Dad chuckled and scratched his head like I'd seen him do many times before. It was the same thing he'd always done when Nono was scolding him at home.
Takaru, do you have anything you enjoy doing?
Huh?
There's gotta be something you like, right? There's no point in living otherwise.
What are you talking about? That's not what I asked.
なん
Why
で
did you
ユイ
kill
を
Yui?
殺した
Why did you kill
ノノ
Nono?
を殺した
Huh? A friend killed Yui and this girl killed Nono.
うるさい
Shut up!
Ooh, scary.
What the hell's so funny about this to you? I clenched my hands in the fists, my grip so tight in my rage that my nails dug into my skin.
あんたどうして
How are you
どう
capable
し
of
て
doing
こん
this?
な
It
こ
doesn't
と
make
で
any
きるん
sense.
だ
Don't get so mad, okay? I just told you, you need to have fun.
What the hell does that even mean?
Had I hoped for you. You were so badly broken, you managed to reboot an entire human being. I started looking forward to seeing how far you would go, how crazy you could become.
Huh?
If a Gigamomaniac like you started doing whatever you wanted, whenever you wanted to do it, you would be amazing. You could wreck the whole world. It'd be hilarious. I'd love to see it. I could observe it, calculate it, come up with a theory, and experiment some more. I'd love to see what lies beyond the end of that loop. Don't you think the thought of that is just exciting, Takaru?
Dad kept using the same voice he'd always used at home. But I couldn't even hear a word. The anger inside me just kept building.
What I'm trying to say is this. No matter what happens, do whatever you think is fun. It's a little life lesson from your dear old dad.
父親だと
Dad,
あ
you're
んた
not
なん
my
か父親
father.
じゃない
I screamed at the top of my lungs. But Dad just kept on smiling.
Anyway, to me, Giglomaniac research is the most fun thing in the world. There's nothing else that's this entertaining. That's my answer to your question.
But that can't be. That was the only reason. The only reason he worked for the committee. The only reason he did all those horrible experiments in the basement. So the reason you did that to Yui, Nono, Ito, and all the others.
How many times do I have to tell you? Because it was fun!
You bastard! The next thing I knew, I was running. The D-sword appeared in my hand instantly. It had no weight, but I could feel that it was there. I listened to the blades roar as I ran down the corridor. I swung it upward at the bastard on the stage. Ooh. There was a high-pitched noise and a brilliant light, and I stopped. My hand went numb for a second. The mechanical D-sword blocked my swing.
Yeah.
Dad's muscle bulged like thick ropes as he swung his giant D-sword down at me. I can't be too loud, sorry. I barely managed to block it, but the impact knocked me back into the front row seats. There was a sharp pain in my arm. It had been cut a little. When I first got cut, it was just a delusion, but this time real blood was running down my arm.
Hey, are you really gonna try to fight me, despite how weak you are?
Dad didn't move a step. He raised the giant D-sword onto his shoulders. His huge body was at least 185 centimeters tall, and he towered over me from the stage like a wall.
Well, I guess it wouldn't hurt to play with my son once in a while. It's not fair to give the girls all the attention. Come on up. I do wish we had more than a single corpse for an audience, but what can you do, huh?
Then he kicked Serica's unmoving body once more. I felt anger, but also an indescribable despair. What was I doing here? I'd come to find out the truth from Serica, but I killed her myself. There was no reason for me to be here anymore. So didn't that mean there was no reason to try and fight Dad? No. It wouldn't even be a fight. I'd probably just get myself killed. So maybe... When Serica had cut open my leg before, it had only been an illusion. I could run to the exit. If I caught him off guard, I could escape. Maybe. But... Damn it all! I went forward. I hadn't done any real exercise since my physical therapy 5 years before. A vision of Nono and Yui's faces flashed through my mind. And for some reason, I also saw Serica smiling. Like she used to do when we were in the newspaper club.
What's wrong? Come up onto the stage. The audience is getting bored.
When I looked at him, I suddenly had an idea in the corner of my mind. I remembered what he'd said. That the machine on his back was what gave him his power. That he was an artificial gigalomaniac. But what if I could get rid of that machine? I might be able to do it. No. I have to do it. I stood and climbed up onto the stage. The lights shone down upon my head. I could hear a non-existent crowd screaming for my death from the empty seats. I readied my D-sword. My hand still felt a little numb.
Hey, looking like a hero, Takaru. Good stuff.
I took a step to the side, trying to look as natural as possible. If he's going to use his D
この
sword.
姿勢でディソードを使うなら
By moving to the side, I was able to see part of the device on his back. And hit him with my power as hard as I could. Huh? Dad heard a noise from behind him and turned around. I had a clear view of the machine. Now! I concentrated more intensely and hit him with more of my power.
You asshole!
てめえ
Dad then howled like a wild animal and swung his D sword. But I didn't stop. If I could just destroy the machine. Mind control. Huh? My vision suddenly blurred. I felt a cold wind on my cheek, and I could see the city in the distance. Where am I?
学校の
On top of the school.
屋上
Damn it! More mind control. I panicked and tried to use my D sword. Huh? Only to find out it was gone. My D sword disappeared.
なんでだよ
What the hell? Damn it! I concentrated as hard as I could. I imagined the pale light of the sword. Come on, come on. I couldn't see him or sense him. But Dad was probably right in front of me with his huge D sword. Why can't I make my D sword appear? I can't see it. I can't find it. It's always supposed to appear when I imagine it.
What do you want to talk about, Nan-chan?
Sarah was staying there on the roof. And so was...
Don't try to fool me. With your power, you know exactly what I want to talk about, right, Sarika?
It was Nono. Nono was standing in front of me talking.
生きてた
Nono's alive.
ののか
Nono is...
いや
No,
違う
that's not right. My sense of logic dispelled the hope that was forming in my mind. This is mind control. Dad's power is causing me to hallucinate. The two of them were right in front of me, but didn't seem to know I was there.
So you found out, Chris or Nono?
Yes. Suddenly Sarika changed. The smiling, happy girl from the newspaper club disappeared. She became a cold, remorseless killer.
いや
Stop
やめ
it.
ろ
No way.
小野へ
I knew I was being mind controlled, but I couldn't help myself. I felt a cold chill in my heart, and all the hairs on my body stood up on end.
You must know what's coming next, right?
Sarika's D-sword appeared in her hand. Nono didn't seem surprised. She just glanced at Sarika. Stop it. Stop it, Sarika.
Are you going to kill Takuru too? No, I'll keep him alive. That's why I exist. I don't believe you. That's why I'm going to stop you, even if it kills me. I thought you'd say that. That's why you're in the way.
やめろ
Stop! I screamed at as Sarika stepped forward. But there was no sign that she heard me. I tried to summon my D-sword, but it didn't work. I tried to get between the two of them. Only to realize that I couldn't move. My legs felt like they were rooted in the ground.
どうして
Why?
どうして
Why? But my head was clear. I couldn't let this happen. I knew I had to stop it, but... Sarika and Nono's D-swords clashed with each other. They created a flash so bright I was forced to close my eyes. And then Nono's D-sword cracked.
You made a mistake. I can see exactly what you're thinking. Can't believe you still thought that I was your friend.
Sarika kept moving forward. There was no hesitation on her face. No, stop!
やめろ
No matter how much I screamed, they didn't hear me. I couldn't move. Sarika crossed right in front of me, carrying her gigantic deadly weapon.
There is no friendship within me. There is no friendship within me.
And in the next moment,
Takeru, I'm sorry.
I felt like Nono looked right at me. And then, Sarika's D-sword ran her through. My vision suddenly blurred. I felt a cold wind on my cheek, and I could see the city in the distance. I could hear a sob. I'd been crying without realizing it. I looked around, forgetting even to wipe the tears from my cheeks. The roof was lit up by the moon. There was nothing here. There was no one here. Of course, there was no sign of Seriko or Nono's body. Then what was that just now? Calm down. Calm down. This is all mind control, all just hallucination. It's a fake vision that Dad created. That's right. It's just like a movie. It has to be. Nono died by Serika's hand. Serika killed Nono. That really did happen. I saw it. It's not happening now. It's all part of the past. There's no changing it.
What do you want to talk about, Nan-chan?
Oh no.
Don't try to fool me. With your power, you know exactly what I want to talk about. Right, Serika?
Again, the two of them were standing there just like they were before.
So you found out Kurusu Nono? Yes.
You're just gonna make me keep seeing it until it kills him.
You must know what's coming next, right? Are you going to kill Takeru too?
You're gonna keep doing this until it completely breaks Takeru.
No, I'll keep him alive. That's why I exist. I don't believe you. That's why I'm going to stop you, even if it kills me. I thought you'd say that. That's why you're in my way.
Two of them played out the exact same scene as before. There's still no sign that they noticed me. My heart began to pound loudly again. I remembered how it felt to hold Nono's body in my hands. The smell of her blood, the way the warmth drained from her body, and the way her eyes would never look at me again. Calm down. I tried to tell myself that over and over. This was just part of the past. Screaming wouldn't change the fact that I couldn't interfere with it. No. Maybe this wasn't even part of the past. I hadn't heard this conversation. Everything except the fact that Serika had killed Nono could have just been a hallucination that my dad had created. Tried to run away, growing ever more frustrated at my unmoving legs. But nothing worked. Which made sense. After all, the real me wasn't even here. I was on top of the stage, trapped in a hallucination, with Dad and his gigantic D-sword standing right in front of me.
You made a mistake. I can see exactly what you're thinking. I can't believe you still thought that I was your friend.
Serika raised her D-sword and advanced. It was happening again. I never wanted to re-experience that horrible moment, but it was happening all over again. I looked away. No, I tried to look away. But my head wouldn't move. I couldn't take my eyes off the scene before me. Then Nono looked right at me.
Takeru, what are you doing here?
And Serika killed Nono again. And then I found myself back at the beginning once more. On the cold moonlit roof. I wrapped my arms around my body tightly, trying to warm myself against the freezing air. What was that? Nono looked right at me. I saw her looking at me, I'm sure of it. She actually saw me. No, that's impossible. I'm not really here. But... I know that was Nono's voice I just heard. And she was definitely looking right at me. If I'm a real gigalomaniac, does that mean I have the power to interfere with the past? If that's really true, was that the real Nono and not a hallucination? Calm down. Calm down. My head hurt, and I was losing the ability to think. No, this is all an illusion. It's all an illusion. There's no way I can interfere with the past.
What do you want to talk about, Non-chan? Don't try to fool me. With your power, you know exactly what I want to talk about, right, Serika?
Again and again. On my third time seeing the exact same thing, I was finally able to close my eyes. Stop it. I don't want to see Nono die anymore. I put my hands over my ears to block out the sound, but I could still hear them saying the same words. The last conversation Nono would ever have flowed directly into my head.
You made a mistake. I can see exactly what you're thinking. Can't believe you still thought I was your friend. There is no friendship within me.
I didn't have to look to know what was happening. I knew the expressions on their faces. I knew the looks in their eyes. The angle Serika held her D-sword at, and even how she was going to swing it. I knew it all.
Takeru, why won't you save me?
I suddenly opened my eyes without warning. I felt warm blood splash in my face the second I did. There was no time to even scream. I shut my eyes tightly again, but I could feel the wind on my cheeks again. I was stuck frozen on that roof again. The muscles in my face had tensed up. There was nothing funny happening, but I was letting out a noise that sounded like a laugh. My teeth were chattering.
What do you want to talk about, Non-chan?
Don't try to fool me. With your power, you knew exactly. I covered my ears, but their words went right into my brain. I didn't know how I could possibly be any more confused. What was that? Why was Nono in front of me? Why won't you answer me? Stop it, please. I didn't want to open my eyes. I wanted to keep them shut. But for some reason, the moment Nono was killed, they opened their own. Nono kept dying in front of me. Nono had taken care of me and kept me safe before I'd even woken up from my coma. From my perspective, that was before I'd even known her. She was a part of my family. She was the only big sister I had. And she kept dying over and over again in front of me. Why do I have to die? My head hurt. But the pain didn't even work as an anchor to keep my mind connected to reality. This Nono was hallucination, I knew that. But the words she said were ripping my mind apart. Why didn't you save Yui? Why did you try and solve the case at all? Nono looked at me and kept asking that. Were those her last words before she was killed? Her dying screams? Her final message? No more. I already said I don't want to see her die again. Please, stop it. My eyes were closed, but I could hear their death repeating again and again in my mind. The D-sword running through her chest. The blood everywhere. The tiny sound coming out of her throat like air leaking from a bag. Her blood was hot when it landed on my face. It didn't have that metallic smell, but it was hot. I couldn't tell anymore. Was this really a hallucination? Maybe this was the real Nono. And maybe this is what she really thought. Why didn't you save me? Why didn't you save Yui? Why did you try and solve the case at all? I told you not to do anything dangerous. I told you not to get revenge. It's all your fault. I heard a sound somewhere. It was the sound of something snapping. I didn't want to see anything anymore. I didn't want to hear anything anymore. I didn't want to feel anything anymore. I closed off my heart, wishing for nothing more than that.
Come on, don't retreat into your shell now. I'm sick and tired of seeing you stop moving because of guilt.
I heard a voice from somewhere, speaking directly into my head. But I held my hands over my ears anyway. I didn't want to hear anything.
Fine, I'll make it so you can't stop then. You ever heard of Woodburn heroin? Anyway, see you in a month. Have fun breaking.
And then, just like a computer monitor being powered off, everything disappeared. What? What is this? It was dark. I couldn't see anything. I was in a huge, dark, empty space. Like nothing I'd ever experienced before. I couldn't even tell if my eyes were open or not. I tried blinking, but the darkness didn't change. I tried to rub my eyes to see if that helped. But my hands wouldn't move. No, not just my hands. Nothing moved. There was no sensation of standing. There was no feeling of weight in my body. Huh? Am I lying down? No. Wait, am I floating? It's almost like I'm in zero gravity, or just floating in water with no resistance. Like my body is just drifting along. The only thing that existed was silence. I'd hear the sound of my heartbeat echoing. But even in the overwhelming darkness, I felt a little better. Anything was better than seeing Nono die again and again. It didn't matter what. Compared to hearing Nono's last words over and over, I did nothing but float there. It was like being almost asleep, but there was something stopping me from falling asleep altogether. It felt weird and unpleasant. I tried to at least do something about the floating, but there was nothing to grab onto, nowhere to stand, and my body wouldn't move. I wanted to find something solid. I tried my best to find it. Suddenly I realized, where am I? What am I doing here? No. This has to be more mind control. This darkness is just another hallucination. I tried to scream and wave my arms, but there was no sound and no movement. If I couldn't move, I wanted to at least feel something with one of my senses. It could be a bright light, screaming, even pain, an awful bitter taste, or even a horrible smell. If I didn't find something fast, I'd lose track of where I ended up and where the darkness began. I know. What about my shoulder injury from when Dad knocked me into me in seats? I desperately tried to feel the pain in my shoulder, but it didn't work. I couldn't feel anything, even whether or not I was bleeding. I felt like the darkness was gradually burying me, like ants swarming over a piece of candy. The boundary line between my own body and the rest of the world got even blurrier. No way. I finally remembered a certain piece of information. I remembered what my dad said just before this happened. Woodburn Heron, wasn't it? I matched the name with what was going on. That was a famous experiment if I remembered right. Heron's sensory deprivation experiment. He would put subjects in a soundproofed room that was completely silent, blindfold them so they couldn't see, and tie them up with a straitjacket, kept at exactly the same body temperature to take away their sense of touch. Except for eating simple meals and defecating, they were kept on a bed at all times. The purpose of his experiment was to find out how many days a human being could last in that state. The results had been far less than what he expected. The most any of them could endure was 2 or 3 days. The worst ones would complain about disturbed thinking after only a few hours. If they continued with the experiment anyway, they would start hearing and seeing things, and almost go insane. A human being can endure long periods of time with no stress or stimulation. The experiment was now banned because of how dangerous it was. And then I remembered something else. Something terrifying. What did Dad say to me? See you in a month? Is he going to make me spend a month like this? I screamed. but I couldn't even hear my own voice. The first change was to my sense of vision. It was after about 2 days passed. From what I could tell, it would have been about dinner time. I wasn't sleepy or hungry. At some point, I started counting numbers. 1 second. 2 seconds. It was meaningless, but I felt like I'd go crazy if I didn't do something. When I just about passed the 100,000 seconds, the darkness in front of me suddenly began to shine. What? It was there. It wasn't a camera flash or a light bulb. It was just a blurry glow. That was all. I couldn't see anything else or even move. When I saw it, I lost track of my number and started over. The light came every 100,000 seconds. A day was 60 times 60 times 24. So 86,400 seconds. Perfect. I decided to round up and call it each 100,000 seconds a day. When there was no light, I was bored. I wished so many times for something to happen. Someone come here. Even Dad. I don't care. I'd rather be fighting a battle with D-swords that I know I can't win. No, actually, I'd rather be stabbed with a D-sword. I wanted to feel pain. I thought that when the light came for the 30th time, I would escape. Because that would mean a month had passed. A month was 30 days. But nothing happened. The light just kept coming at the same pace as before. When the light came again after 30 days passed, I stopped counting how many times it had come. I stopped counting to 100,000 too. What's the point of counting anyway?
You're gonna stop counting?
No. I heard that voice very clearly. I started hearing voices sometimes when I neared the 30th appearance of the light. Are you just going to die like this? What's Miyashita Park like? Hey senpai, how'd you meet Gensan? Adios, gracias. Why'd you leave me to die? The newspaper club's just getting started, right? You idiot. Are you just going to die here? Tell me, why didn't you save me? It hurt so much when I died. You ever heard of Woodbird Heron? The voices came and disappeared without listening to my responses. I at least wanted to see their faces. I was already starting to forget what everyone looked like. Maybe if I saw them again, I could stop the darkness from swallowing up all of my memories.
I'll let you out of here. I'll go kill Dad for you.
Really?
I tried, but it didn't work. I couldn't do it alone. Should we help?
Really? You'll do that for me?
Tyrus ate the power of a teenage girl. Adios, gracias.
Wait,
What's wrong, big bro?
no,
Don't tell me you're lonely all by yourself. Give me a break.
that's not true. Of course I'm not lonely. No. Oh, I wanted to tell you to be careful. Dad's powers... What was it again? What's wrong? Where's Sakuma? I can't go kill him if I don't know.
Tell me. You're wasting time.
Huh? That's strange. He should be right there. Huh? There? Where's there?
Takura-san, have you ever heard of Woodbird Heron?
Don't you know him, right, Cider? Of course I know. He's the guy who came up with the theory that a day is 86,400 seconds. See? Amazing, right? I was slowly breaking and melting away. Suddenly I felt something stabbing me somewhere. It was the pain I'd been wishing for. But I didn't care anymore. I was just tired of it. I'll kill you. No, please don't stab me. Why? I don't want to die. Why? Because it hurts. You aren't feeling any pain, Sagaru. Are you really there? Nono kept stabbing me, like she was trying to find out where I was. When that sound finally stopped, I heard a wet, slopping sound. I could tell her hands were jammed inside my body, rummaging through my guts. I could imagine the blood. But Nono was right. I didn't feel any pain. That's strange. It hurt a moment ago. Nono? Let me see you. I'm sorry. You can kill me if you want. Why? Because I want to see you. I want to see anybody. I'm lonely. No. Why? Why did you leave? No. Wait. Was that really Nono? Was that Nono's voice? Did she really talk like that? Wait a second. What was Nono's last name? That orphanage. I can't remember the place's name. There were 2 sisters there. What were their names? Or wait, was it a brother and sister? Everything started turning black. Who was that girl who always told me not to lie? Who was the one in the white lab coat? The one who didn't talk? The one who always seemed scared? Who was stabbing me a moment ago? You don't know?
You're awful, senpai.
Shut up. Shut up. Suddenly the noises started to bother me. I didn't want to be criticized by these people when I didn't even know their names. Please, somebody. Somebody kill. Ow. I was surprised by a sudden fierce pain in my head. Thud. Thud. I could feel the blood flowing into my head. How many months had it been since I'd felt pain so clearly like this? No. How many years? Or maybe decades.
How are you going to keep doing that? Hurt a lot more for me.
I said shut up. All of you shut up. I don't even know who you people are. All of you just disappear. Go away forever. Save me. Save me. When I said someone's name, everything suddenly became better. All the voices disappeared. And the pain in my head was gone.
Taku? Taku, are you okay?
Huh?
Are you hurt? Nope, you're fine.
She was right next to me, as if it was the most natural place in the world for her to be. Onoe? What are you doing here?
Hmm? I'm always by your side, Taku.
This is impossible. When Dad uses mind control on me, I killed her. That's right. I remember. Dad uses mind control on me. In the theater cup at the Hikariwo. So that means the staircase. Just another one of my delusions?
Yep, just like old times, huh?
Serica laughed. I didn't know why.
So, how you like it?
What?
Mind control. How's it feel?
It's pretty rough.
Yeah, it looks pretty comfy. You don't get hungry either, right?
Serica looked around in the empty void. She was acting like she'd just come over to check out a friend's new house. Listen, you learned how much it sucks not to being able to move if it ever happened to you.
I don't think I could handle it. You went through that during your physical therapy, right?
When I tried to move back then, I felt pain. Even if I wasn't moving, it felt like I was trying to move.
Is that how it works?
Circa tilted her head at me. What's happening on the other side?
Your side.
Reality. I mean me in the theater cup. I'm probably lying on the ground after Yusa's mind controlling me, right? I didn't even have the slightest idea how much time had passed. But it had to have been much longer than a day or two. The Restoration Festival was probably long since over, and I might have already starved to death.
I don't think so. You're talking with me right now. That means you're alive, right?
That's true, but
You're the one who always talked about how you had to put your information together and think things through logically, weren't you?
oh,
So maybe time flows differently here than on the other side.
she's right. That's very possible.
What happened to Hina-chan and the others?
Hina-chan? Oh, right. Hinae. Arimura Hinae. How did I forget about her? I think she escaped Shibuya with Shinjo-san and the others.
Pretty others. Uki-chan and Yuto-kun. And...
Kunosato-san.
Huh? What about Hana-chan?
She wasn't directly involved in the case, so I had her stay in Shibuya.
I see.
And then Serika started asking me one more question after another. Could I really not move? Was the light I sometimes saw a hallucination? Were the voices I heard just auditory hallucinations? I took a long time answering each one in as much detail as possible. I had plenty of time after all. And just the act of having a conversation was wonderful. It was something I'd done all the time in my daily life. And at the newspaper club. Come to think of it, who first used the phrase, "You don't know what you've got till it's gone"? And when did they use it?
I don't know. I should've brought my Pokemon maybe.
I laughed a little, though I wasn't sure if Serika was being serious. Each time I would answer one of her questions, Serika's expression would change. She'd laugh, or get mad, and sometimes she'd even try to correct me. She really did seem like a normal person. But...
What is it?
You used to be a delusion of mine. You didn't really exist.
You found out, huh?
She acted just like a kid who'd been caught while playing hide and seek. How did it look to other people? If she wasn't real, I must have spent all my time as a kid talking to empty air.
I think it was just like how you're imagining it. But not that many people saw us together, right? Just your parents mostly? Oh, and Senri-chan in the hospital basement. That was a screw up. That's how Non-chan found me out, you know?
That's right. Serika and I spent almost all of our time in my room. I'd never been to her house. No, actually, according to Kunosawa-san, her house had never even existed. You should have told me.
I couldn't do that.
She laughed, but she seemed a little bothered. But what about that one time? Shibuya earthquake.
Oh.
I remember carrying Serika through the hell that was post-earthquake Shibuya. But she'd only just been born when I had that headache, when I was in the Yoyogi shelter. I hadn't really been carrying her on my back after all. Only then did I remember why I was here. It wasn't to talk about old times.
I don't know, but maybe you just seemed a little off? Not much worse than that. I was unconscious, so you didn't really talk to me much. With everything else going on, I don't think anybody cared if you were talking to yourself or walking a little funny. Huh? Taku?
Huh?
どうしたの？
What's wrong?
いや、
Nothing. If I could have moved my body, I would have been looking straight back into Serica's eyes.
お前を生み出した
When I
時、
created you,
僕はお前に
what exactly did I
何を
wish
望んだん
for?
だろう。
それはね。
You know,
わ
I'm not
かんないよ
sure.
She didn't seem surprised or upset at all.
だって今
Because
の
I
私
only know
は
what you
過
know
去の
right
知って
here in
る
this
ことし
moment.
か知らないもん。向こうの彼女
And
しか
only me in
知
the
ら
real
ないこ
world
と
knows
だ
the
もん。
answer to that.
Yeah, that's right. The Serica in front of me might look alive, but she's really just an art delusion of mine. So she doesn't know anything that I don't. I created her all over again just to help me get through this torture. She's just a... Oh.
Huh?
When I realized it, I felt so disgusted with myself. I felt so pathetic that I wanted to cry. How could I be so shameless? I killed the real Inoue. Even if it was a trap created by Dad's mind control, I'd still killed her with my own 2 hands. She almost killed me, and then I'd lost control and killed her instead. Torn open her stomach injury, then strangled her. Saying I'd been mind controlled was just an excuse. I knew that the rage and desire to kill her I had felt was real. Even without the mind control, if the same thing happened in reality, then I would have probably done it again. I'd kill her all over again. But Inoue was different. Even when the delusionary me tried to kill her, she just chose to die rather than resist, unlike me. But then I wished for her to save me, just like I did during the Shibuya earthquake. I couldn't handle the darkness on my own. So I recreated her. I'm using her all over again. I can't imagine anyone worse than someone like me.
別に気にすることな
Shouldn't
い
let
よ。
bother you, you know?
私、こ
I'm
こに
having
いられ
fun.
て楽しいもん。
Enough. Stop it.
タクが呼んでくれな
You
かっ
can't
たら
come here.
話
You
すこ
won't be
と
able
も
to
できな
talk
か
like
った
this.
し。
Don't tell me exactly what I want to hear. Come to think of it, Serica's always been like that, ever since I was little. Even when I was neglected, she was always jealous of me. She always made me think that I was better off than she was. Whenever I wanted to show off some new piece of information I'd learned, she'd always act interested. She'd pretend to be a stupid girl so that I'd always get to think of myself as a right-sider.
ごめん、
I'm sorry.
ごめんな。
I'm so sorry. I'm truly sorry.
タク、
Taku.
Sarka looked hurt when she saw me apologize. Why don't you understand? You don't have to apologize. This is what makes me happy, she seemed to say. But she only looked that way because I wanted her to. My ego and desire had created the role of kind-hearted young girl that she was forced forever to play. The two of us just stayed like that for a little while. I kept apologizing, and Serica seemed to not want to hear it. Eventually, she spoke to me like a mother scolding her child.
タクはね、
But Taku,
それで
that
も
doesn't mean you can
私
forgive
を
me.
許しちゃいけない。
Huh?
私、
I
のんちゃん
killed
を殺しちゃったん
Nonchan,
だ
right?
から。
でも、
But the reason might be my fault.
僕の
That's not
せいかもしれないんだ。
There has to be something. Something connected to me.
けど、
And I
私は
died,
死ん
so
じゃ
you
った
can't
から、
ask me anymore, right?
聞くことは
She's right. No, I'm just forcing her to say that.
じゃあさ、
So then,
Of course, I knew what she would say next. Serga's voice became a light. The one thing that lit up my path in this dark world.
タクは
what do you want to
どう
do,
したいの？
Taku?
Something I saw scene that I remembered well. Until a moment ago, the darkness had kept me from remembering, no matter how hard I tried to imagine it. But now I could see my family. They must have been getting ready for dinner. I smelled something good. I looked in the kitchen and saw a lineup of dishes fit for a nursing home. Yui, Uki, if you take cooking lessons from Nono, they're going to start calling you Mom and Granny at school. Yui was in the corner sulking because Yui had made fun of him. Yui was looking at him and laughing. Uki didn't know what to do. Nono gave Yui a brief scolding, but she was smiling while she did it. It was the same thing I'd seen a million times before. Nothing was different. Everyone was in the club room going over the case. We seemed to be talking about Shibuya news. Kunasawa-san had updated some information. Kazuki was playing her game. Ito went to stop her, but froze when she offered him a piece of dried squid. Arimura told a stupid joke, and Ito blushed and started to shake his head frantically. There was still no expression on Kazuki's face. This was another scene I knew well. But this world was never coming back. Dad had destroyed it.
それで
Are you okay with that?
Of course not. I loved my family. I loved my friends. Those people were the most precious things in the world to me. But he destroyed them all. And when I asked him why, the only reason he gave me was that it was fun. I can't let him get away with that. No matter what I do now, Yui and Nono are never coming back. The life I had with my friends is gone forever. My feelings began to break free from the darkness and come to life again. Blood flowed through my body once more, and my senses started to return to me. That's right. I
敵を取らなきゃ
have to get revenge,
ダメだ。
even if that means breaking my promise to Nono. I don't care what Dad is trying to accomplish with this experiment, or what's happening to me. He wants to accomplish something through this experiment on me. Whatever it is, I don't even want to know.
それを知ろうとしなくて
You don't want to try and find out?
いいの？
いい。
No. I don't care. I refuse to go insane, like he wants me to.
なんか
Huh.
タコらし
That's
く
not
ない
like
ね。
you.
うるさいな。
Shut up.
I kind of see what you look like when
感
you're
情
letting
だ
your
けで
emotions
頑張っ
take
ちゃうタ
control.
クもちょっと見て
I
みたい
smiled
な
back at her. And then, I focused all my neurons onto creating a delusion. I started trying to envision what the theater cub looked like, as well as that bastard of a father, and where exactly he was standing. Since I'm trapped in a prison, then I just have to reboot a delusion that's even more powerful than his. And then I'll pull him into my own delusion. From what I remember, it looked like this.
お
Hmm? Was it a little brighter? Lights were shining down the stage, right?
天井から照明当たってるんでしょ？
Yeah,
多
I
分
think about
これ
this
く
much.
らい。あ
Think
と
about this much.
もう
Oh,
ちょっ
but a
と
bit
近か
closer.
った。
Closer, huh? How about this?
Okay,
さ
those
す
long
が
hours of the
カ
camera
メ
really
ラ
paid
いじ
off,
ってる
huh?
だけあるね。
Sarika walked around the stage, checking to see if there was anything I'd missed. She must have been satisfied because she nodded several times.
タクの立ち位
Is
置
this
も
place
OK？
is the place you're staying okay too, Taku?
意識が飛ん
If
だ
I'm
時
still in
の
the
ま
spot
ま
where
な
I
ら
was
な
at the time, then yeah.
違ってたら
What if you
どう
weren't?
するの？
Aren't?
その時はそ
I'll
の
come
時
up
は
with something when the time comes.
確実な方
There's
法
no way
な
to
ん
be
て
sure
ありっ
about
こ
this,
な
you
いんだ
know.
からな。
Sarika pretended to be impressed with what I'd said. I laughed at myself, too. Was I really the type of person who was brave enough to do something like this? I used to think that risky decisions weren't courageous, but stupid. I used to think that courage was just a word people used to hide their stupidity.
そう
Oh,
だ。
right, Taku?
私の
Don't try
敵
to
は
avenge me, okay?
取っちゃだ。
Huh?
のんちゃんたちの
You have to
敵
take
は
revenge for
取らな
Nanchan,
きゃダメ。
but no taking revenge for me,
Demo.
got it?
私の
それは
That's...
いいから
Just listen to me.
と
The only
にかく
person
そ
you're
の
allowed to
瞬
think
間
about when you do
タ
it
クが
is
思っていいの
Nanchan.
は
Got it?
のんちゃん
I really am sorry. And thank you for everything. Those were the only words I could come up with. I didn't know what else to say to her.
ほらタク
Come on, Taku, get a hold of yourself. Alright, so what did I come here
じ
for?
ゃないと
Sarika pouted a little. It was the same thing she used to do in the newspaper club. I tried to stop my tears from welling up again. I'm fine.
ち
I'm
ゃ
in
んとし
control.
てるよ。
Have I ever
この
not been in
僕が
control?
ちゃんとしてなかった。
Well, there was that one time, and the other time, and then
指を
Stop counting them on your fingers. Sarika laughed. And then she looked at me right in the eyes.
多分
You'll probably only have one moment where he's off guard when you come back. So you've only got one chance.
One chance is plenty. That's right. I'd only have a few seconds in the world of my delusion. And a few seconds when I got back to reality. I'd probably have less than 5 seconds in total. If he'd been researching psychics for as long as he said, he noticed what I'd done immediately. So I'd only get one shot at this. If it didn't work, he'd definitely kill me this time. Serica looked relieved when she saw my resolve. And then she smiled and started to fade away, as if her job was done. At the same time, I felt a stabbing pain in my head. It was the pain from when the D sword appeared. Here it comes.
This will be a risky bet, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
You're betting your own life, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
You won't get to make any excuses for your dumb decision, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Let's do it.
Then go! Get up on that stage, Taku!
Let's end this. I slammed my own delusion down on top of the one that was holding me captive. Overruled. It was like splattering bright paint onto a black canvas. In a single instant, a perfect replica of the theater appeared. Yes, it's working! Dad was right in front of me. He looked surprised. I could tell from the shock on his face that he hadn't realized it just yet. He didn't realize that this was a world of delusion sitting on top of another delusion. And that I dragged him inside. The machine on his back started to creak and moan. His shape was becoming warped and distorted as it was being crushed by an invisible giant. I screamed louder as I tried to use my power to destroy it. Dad stepped back as if to protect it, the look on his face making it clear that he still couldn't believe what was happening. But it was too late. Goodbye! Shatter! Shatter! Shatter into a million pieces! I hit him with an even stronger delusion. The outer frame couldn't take the stress, and the machine started to break. You little shit! Dad panicked and raised his D-sword to use his mind control on me again. A red light flashed in front of me. It wasn't the mind control again. It was the opposite. This was the key to the plan that the other Serica and I had come up with. Dad, Sakuma had made a mistake. He thought that I'd escaped from his mind control on my own. He thought that I'd escaped from that delusion and made it back to reality. So he did just what we'd hoped he would, and ended the mind control that was on me now. Even though I was actually still inside that dark prison. If Dad stayed calm, he would have noticed his mistake immediately. But it was all so sudden that he panicked and made the wrong decision. The black torture chamber was gone, and in that instant I canceled my own delusion. Reality. The bonds that had tied me in place were now gone. My senses came back and told me that this was reality. The pain of my injury, the smell of blood, the taste of blood, the feeling of the D-sword in my hand, Dad howling as he stood there with his fake sword raised high. But just getting back to reality wasn't good enough. I probably only had a few seconds left. I needed to destroy the real device before he figured out the trick. Run! I forced my aching body to move and ran at full speed toward my foe. I lowered my body and as I ran and held my D-sword ready. A new attempt at mind control came at me. I could feel it trying to scramble my brain, but I didn't stop. I couldn't stop. I bit down hard on my lip and used the pain to check my 5 senses. You're still okay. Don't stop. Run! Keep running. I swung my D-sword down at my father. Dad tried to dodge it, But that was exactly what I wanted. He ducked low and I could clearly see the device on his back. I dug my D-sword into it, hard before he can move. Goodbye. Panting, I pulled my D-sword out of the device. Parts flew everywhere. The strange light I had been giving off disappeared, and the artificial D-sword he was holding lost its glow. The pain in my head created by his mind control attempts vanished like it was never there. As soon as I saw that the device was destroyed, I fell to my knees. I spent all my energy while running at full speed, and it hurt to breathe. I was dizzy from lack of oxygen.
You piece of...
Dad's mood suddenly began to change. He seemed to realize what I'd just done. The smile on his face vanished, and instead of anger, there was now no expression at all.
Do you know how hard I had to work to rebuild this thing?
I'd never heard him use a tone like that before.
Takeru.
What?
Why didn't you break? Why are you alive? No, why are you still sane? There's no way you could have endured that. I know I locked you in there for 30 days. Did I screw up? No, there's no way that guy could do it. And I couldn't.
I used my D-sword as support to help me to my feet. It was fine. I can move. I can move just the way I wanted to. I was sure of it. I definitely made it back to reality.
Answer me. How can you move?
I readied my D-sword again without saying a word. There was still no expression on Dad's face.
I see. Her, huh? So that's it.
I looked down. Sarika was lying there, looking as if she was asleep even though she was dead. Dad's anger had vanished, and instead he started to speak like a scientist observing a guinea pig. That was even creepier somehow.
So your imaginary friend was enough to get you through it, huh? I didn't see you going to the person you just killed for help. Damn it. Now that's no fun at all.
Dad raised a now dull D-sword and walked toward me. It was no longer an artificial D-sword, but it was still a giant metal blade. Even without his powers, it was more than capable of killing me. I stepped away from him, my own weapon at the ready. I felt like if I looked away from him, I'd be killed.
I told you to go insane, didn't I? Didn't I?
The iron blade suddenly swung down at me. There was an impact on my face. I felt some of my back teeth break, and blood spurted from my mouth. I'd been knocked onto the floor. I swung my D-sword in my hand frantically. For a moment, I experienced the pain and light that were caused by mind control. Is that thing still working? It's not broken. It has to be. I dropped my D-sword in despair. It vanished. But the mind control never came. My attack a moment ago actually had managed to damage it.
Yeah, it really is broken. You goddamn brat!
Sagama's iron sword struck me on the left leg. An indescribable, awful pain ran up my spine and smashed into my brain.
I should have just used the mind control to put you in the torture room from the start. Actually, maybe I'll torture you for real right now. How would you like that, huh?
It hurts. It hurts. It hurts. It hurts. Was this plan stupid after all? Was there no way for me to win?
Take this. There's nothing new to be gained driving someone mad with pain.
What happened to my leg? My body? Were they still there? I couldn't move, just like in that black prison.
Maybe I should just kill them all in front of you instead.
Huh? I could hear those words clearly, even as my whole body was screaming with pain.
They're probably still in Shibuya, right?
The instant I understood what he meant, I forgot about the pain coursing through my body.
Yeah, that's right. The more important they are to you, the better the result. This will definitely work.
He kicked me and I rolled across the ground. Then he started to walk away. Wait! My throat hurt as I screamed. I was frustrated that I couldn't even speak. Where's he going? Where else? To where they are. After the people most precious to me. I won't let you go! I tried to stand up, but the leg he struck wouldn't move and I fell back to the ground. I fell face first into the floor. My left leg wouldn't move. It was probably broken. It was the one place I didn't feel any pain. Damn! My body wouldn't move. Why? I finally made it out of the darkness. I can't just let him go. Move. I don't care what moves. Move, move. He's going to kill them right in front of me. Kill Arimura, Uki, Yuto, Kunosada-san. I won't let you. I won't let you do it. As my vision blurred from the pain, I saw Serika's body lying on the ground.
Yeah, take your revenge for Non-chan. But not taking your revenge for me, got it?
I won't let you!
I howled. And my D-sword appeared as if in response to my cry. And then it slid through the air toward my dad as he walked away.
What?
Telekinesis. Telekinesis. A most dangerous ability. My dad turned around at the noise, just in time for my D-sword to impale his throat. You won't hurt anyone. And then he slowly fell backward onto the floor. I somehow managed to endure the pain that was coursing through my body and stand back up. There was blood everywhere on the stage. I avoided it, dragging my unmoving left leg as I walked toward the body that used to be my dad. The D-sword was still shining as it stuck out of his throat. I made it disappear. When I saw what was left, I didn't feel a sense of accomplishment or anything else. Just an urge to vomit. He was lying on the ground. I'd killed him. I just killed my own father. What the hell is this? What the hell is happening? Taking revenge for Nono and Yui didn't make me feel any better at all. I didn't feel happy at all. Huh? I suddenly realized that I was crying. I didn't know how long I'd been crying for, but my tears were red. Everything around me felt like a lie. I was having trouble standing up, and not just because of my injury. This was how it felt to cross a line that no one should ever cross. I tried to smile and forget my tears. What the hell am I doing? Do I feel like this because I broke my promise to Nono? Oh, right. Serika. That was the real reason I came here in the first place. There's something I need to ask her. I looked away from Dad and walked over to Serika, dragging my leg behind me. That's right. That's not happening now, is it? I looked down at Serica and reached my hand out toward her. I wanted to at least fix up her clothes where they'd been messed up. There was a loud, heavy noise and an impact around my stomach. Huh? What was that? I looked down at my body, trying to find the source of the sound and the noise. And there, I saw a D-sword sticking out of my stomach. It was the same one that had taken Nono's life on the roof of Hekyo Academy. November 6th, 2015. Friday. 10:50 p.m. The second Shibuya Restoration Festival was now over. The murmuring among the crowd in Memorial Park started as soon as the Shibuya ward mayor finished his speech. Some people headed straight for the station, glad to be done. Some people were so moved by the speeches given by the victims that they stood in front of the memorial wiping away their tears. Some people went to go drinking since it was Friday. They'd all come to the Restoration Festival for different reasons. But even now, when all fan festivities were over, there were still some people who hadn't seen what they'd come for.
What? He's not here.
What do you say he was gonna be here?
The whispers started all over the place, and others agreed even though they would never say it. They all looked around with searching eyes. Everyone was looking for Miyashiro Takaru. At the same time, Shibuya Scramble Crossing. This place was even more packed than Memorial Park, and the reaction was even stronger.
What? You didn't honestly think he'd come here and kill himself for everyone, did you? Don't believe everything you read, you dumbass wrong side.
Oh wow, that ticks me off.
Some started to say that the whole thing was a hoax, and more people began to leave. The ones that didn't move at all were the ones in the masks. They were waiting for Miyashiro Takaru more than anyone else. But the festival was over. When the heat and passion of the festival began to fade, and reality came crashing in, they began to doubt. He was the mastermind behind all those murders. They thought that it would be nothing for him to commit suicide in public. But were they wrong? Or was someone that brilliant capable of making an announcement like that, then managing to escape? The ones that stood in groups began to stare at each other with their three-eyed masks, trying to guess what the others were thinking. Should they move somewhere with less people? They waited for someone to suggest it.
Oh, what's that?
And then something happened that saved them. At the center of the commotion were police officers running somewhere in a hurry.
No, wait a second. I'm telling you.
Shinjo kept suggesting that they get confirmation, but his boss ignored him. When the information had come in, he'd lost his ability to control the situation. Wait, damn it! He cursed at the phone as they hung up on him. This is bad. This is really, really bad, Shinjo thought to himself. What's wrong?
Kurosawa-san, I told you to wait in the car.
You made me wait too long. What happened? Shinjo looked at the time. It had already been 10 minutes after he'd gone back to Alba dorm, and had gotten everyone else into the car. There was an anonymous call. They know Miyashiro-kun is at Hikaribo. What? That was probably the first time Shinjo had ever seen her go pale. Who told them?
I don't know. HQ insists it doesn't matter.
Shinjo had repeatedly asked for a source, but it didn't help. From the way his boss had been acting, it was likely that they didn't even know where it came from.
Our officers are on their way to the Hikaribo now.
And what will you do? Now that the police knew that Miyashiro was at the Hikaribo, there was no time for him to go to Akihabara and back. Shinjo had to be there. It was his job. He was the detective in charge of the case. And if Miyashiro was going to be arrested, he was the one who could be help. But getting the kids from Alba dorm out of the city was something that only he could do. What should I do? He kept asking himself that. Go. We'll escape Shibuya on our own.
え
What?
脱出って
You
いう
don't
の
know
は
what's
な
going to happen if you try.
何が起こるかわからないんだぞ。
That's why you'd stay here as guard.
なんとかするさ。
I'll figure something out. Just leave the
た
car.
だし、
え
Huh? She couldn't possibly mean he had a bad feeling about this. Kunosawa-san have an international license?
無免許運転を
Is
取り締ま
this
ってる
the time to be
場合
worrying
か。
about unlicensed drivers?
Tot
Go
tot
already.
あのな。
Listen.
Suddenly his phone began to ring. This time it was from one of his men. There wasn't even time to think about it anymore. He prayed as he tossed Kunosawa the key.
子供たちが乗ってるんだ。
There are kids in that car. Don't do any crazy driving.
当然だ。
Of course. Who do you think I
私を
am?
誰だと。
何かあったらす
Call
ぐ
me
に
if
連
something
絡し
happens.
ろ
If。it doesn't
それが無理な
work,
ら
go to any police box and give them my name.
交番に駆け込んで俺の名前を出せ。
Shinjo ran off without waiting for an answer.
新庄さん、
Shinjo-san.
あ
He turned around. Kunosawa had a totally earnest look on her face as she spoke.
アクセルは
The accelerator's the one on the right,
確
isn't
か
it?
右だったな。
Shinjo had to force himself not to go grab the keys out of her hand, look it up on the internet wrong side, or he yelled as he ran toward the car. Whoa. Thank you.
It was cold. And I was sleepy. My body wouldn't move. Huh? Am I back in that world? That dark prison? No. I can still feel pain. My senses are still working. Then, just what is this? I suddenly remembered where I was. Did I pass out? My back, my stomach. I felt the warmth fading from my body with each drop of blood I lost. But my wounds burned like someone was pressing a soldering iron up against them. And yet for some reason I felt sleepy. None of this made sense. My whole body had stopped making sense. I heard footsteps. They were getting further away. I forced my eyes to open and looked toward the source of the sound. The first thing I saw was my dad's body. The body of the man I'd killed. Until a moment ago, he'd still been a person. And just past him, I saw her through my blurry eyes. Onoe? She was getting further away. It really was Serica. She was alive. She was walking. She had just put her phone into her pocket. She was walking across the stage. She was probably heading for the exit high among the seats. She didn't look back. How are you alive? I couldn't be hallucinating. At least I shouldn't have been. There was no one left who could use mind control. Wait. No, wait. Wait. There's something I have to ask you. Dang it. That's why I came here. Move. Move. Come on, this is supposed to be my body, right? Why won't it move when I tell it to? Serica stepped off the stage. She made her way through the seats to leave. She was about to disappear. No, don't wait. Please, come on, move. Suddenly I felt a familiar pain in my head. I obeyed my intuition and let it go. My D-sword suddenly appeared in my hand. That's right, I can do that. Just like I did before. I used my powers to fling the D-sword at Serica. I didn't care if it landed at her feet or where it landed at all. I just had to stop her. Serica sensed it coming and turned around. At the same time, a light appeared around her. Her D-sword appeared from within the light. She then grabbed it and easily blocked the incoming blade. When the two swords collided, my vision went white. What the?
You want me to use mind control on you?
Yes.
Yes.
What? Okay, this is weird. Why did you want mind control used on you? What's going on? What am I looking at?
I've got a lot of questions, but can I start by asking why?
I read Kurusu Nono's mind before I killed her. She left a letter behind.
I see. A heart-rending. So she knew she was going to be killed.
The police probably already have it. Sooner or later, Mishiro Taku is going to read it. And when that happens, Mishiro will be held back by her death. And by what's inside. He'll try to do what the letter says.
And what does it say?
Don't try to get revenge. Give up on the case.
Huh.
If that happens, Mishiro will stop for sure. And that's a problem for me. So I have to make him interested in something besides revenge or the case. I have to make it interested in me. That will cause him to act.
Yeah? And how do you know that?
I know everything there is to know about Mishiro. That's who I am.
Hmm? So why do I have to use mind control?
Because he'll have Arimura Hinai with him. I want to neutralize her power. If the mind control caused me to believe the lie, it stops being a lie. Arimura will think it's the truth, and so will Mishiro.
Oh, the same trick we used with that Ito kid.
Sarah was talking with Dad. The vision was unclear, like it was wrapped in fog. But this was... So that's why... I remember, it was so weird. Why was it, like... Why is it that... Arimura noticed it was weird about how... Sarika was talking. And that's why. The reason why it was so weird is because she asked to be mind controlled.
This whole thing's such a pain, though. Wouldn't it be much easier just to use mind control and Takeru himself? Hey, don't get mad.
I want to minimize the use of mind control on him as much as possible. It damages the brain, correct?
Yes, but I'm going to use it one more time at the very end. No way I can beat a Gigalomaniac without it.
Just one more time. Got it?
Got it.
I could see the two of them talking. It looks like an old movie shown through a projector that was slightly out of focus. But I wasn't really seeing it. The vision seemed to be coming directly into my mind.
Okay, next question. What do you want me to mind control you to do exactly?
The script will work like this. First, you've lost contact with the committee, and you want to get back into their good graces. Make me believe this lie. Second, you've betrayed me and are trying to make Mishiro Takeru out to be the real culprit in order to win the committee's favor. Make me believe this as well. Third, make me tell on myself at the appropriate time that I was the one who killed his parents. And finally, change the reason I exist.
Right. These are probably Sarika's memories. Are her memories coming into me through her D-sword?
You want me to involve me? You want to involve me in your lies too?
I have to. There's another person besides Arimura who's a threat to the plan. Kunosato Mio.
I see.
She knows too much about what's going on. That's why we make up the story about the committee. Whenever the committee's involved, she stops thinking straight. If we can make her think that I have information in the committee, she'll never let me go. Ironically, thanks to her, I'll be able to stay near Mishiro.
You're a scary woman. You figured that out all on your own. Or just thanks to your mind reading.
I'm the one who's controlling all the characters in this game.
Game? I suddenly remembered something. The theory I'd come up with in the newspaper club room. I thought that the killer was challenging me to a game. That the killer was moving people around like chess pieces. And that they wanted me to be the other player in the game. But once my dad identified himself as a killer, I'd given up on that theory. I thought that I was wrong. But maybe I was right after all.
I see. A game, huh? I like fun things too. Though I don't like the idea of changing the reason you exist, even for a short while.
I'm not interested in your opinion. All I want is data on Mishiro. On a true gigalomaniac, right? How about giving you what you want? All you want, is it?
Well, that's true, but I've said this plenty of times before. The chance of Takeru's mind withstanding what I'm planning to do to him is 0. I picked this method of torture up directly from the guy who ran the basement facility under H. Tokyo General.
Don't underestimate him. I've said that plenty of times before as well.
You don't mind if I break him, do you? We both agree that you wanted to interfere with my experiments on him.
If you didn't have that mind control device, I would have killed you first.
Sounds fun. Want to try it?
You scum.
Oh, one more thing. Why do you need me to make him look like the killer? You just want him to solve the case, right?
Because my vision blurred. There seemed to be a chorus buzzing inside my head. This feeling, it was the same as when I used my power. The same as when I saw my D-sword in the corner of my vision. And another vision came to me through her D-sword. The him inside of me speaks to me. I'm different from other people. Lots of people say that, but most of them are wrong. They're all wrong-siders, who just don't realize it. But I'm the one person who really is different. Is this me? I survived the hell that was the Shibuya earthquake, and somebody murdered my parents immediately after. The word special means something which is clearly distinct from others. Few other people have experienced the things that I have. And so, that's why I really am special. Hey, did I ever tell you about the comments from the Shibuya earthquake victims?
What do you mean?
Remember how, just after the chaos from the earthquake calmed down, a ton of reporters started asking the victims for comments before the term Chaos Child Syndrome existed? Most of the interviews were about what good citizens we were. Despite the scale of the disaster, there was barely any violence or looting. They said it was amazing. And I think they were right. When they asked the victims what was the hardest part, most people were more concerned about others instead of themselves. They talked about how they couldn't contact their families and tell them they were safe. Or how they couldn't give their kids their favorite foods. But then one person said something different. I remember what they said word for word. It left a huge impression on me. You outsiders have some nerve if you're telling us to hang in there. I remembered this scene. It was what I'd said to Serica back at Cafe Lax. It was just after the Love Hotel incident.
It's incredibly important to him that he's part of the action. That's who he really is at his core.
I don't know how you people can get so worked up over a single tweet. I can never do that. Let's go check out that arson site from yesterday. It's close to here. This one looks like a juicy scoop.
He dived deep into the internet, drowned in information, and tried to become a right-sider to help himself swim. And he chose an urban legend to test his abilities. That broadened his interest into real-world crimes. It all began with...
When we were in 6th grade, this New Generation Madness started. That was 2009. It was like I was having a fever dream or something. Oh my god, is this why? Is this why? Is this explaining why the killings were done in the same during the same dates that the New Generation and that the New Generation Madness killings happened? Like, is the reason why the dates were the same because Serica wanted to make him feel special? What is this? This is me yesterday. How? Is Serica's D-sword suddenly reading my memories now? At first, we couldn't believe that something like that was happening in the city we lived in. We spent almost the whole day glued to the computer following the news. When something big like that's going on, if you take your eyes off the internet for even a few hours, you'll get left behind. We stay up all night in shifts following the case. Sometimes we use our cell phones to check the internet as we actually went out to the crime scenes and took pictures. Serica wasn't real back then. But she'd been by my side anyway. More and more murders kept happening, and eventually people started to say that Nishijo Takumi was the killer, but he ended up proving them wrong. Sarika and I both got very excited. He seemed so cool. I thought that proving your innocence meant getting the right information and shoving it in the faces of the people whose information was bad. It seemed like the ultimate expression of what I was trying to do back then, and what I suppose I'm still trying to do with the newspaper club. Sariko said he was amazing. I agree.
Oh, one more thing. Why do you need to make him look like the killer? You just want him to solve a case, right?
You're copying it. You're copying the New Generation Madness. Because that's how it was during the New Generation Madness 6 years ago. And with the person who was believed to be a killer clearing his name and solving the case.
I know how obsessed you are with the New Gen murders. It was your idea to make all the dates match and have people start calling it the return of the New Gen Madness. The whole reason you patterned the murders of the New Gen killings and left the sumo stickers at scene for Takuru to find was all to let him solve the return of the New Generation Madness, right?
So the theory that I came up with in the newspaper club was actually correct. If so, then Sarika was the one manipulating the characters and setting up the game. And her real goal was me.
You're the one who came up with the ideas of how to kill them. Don't blame those nasty ideas on me.
Yeah, I have to at least test out my mind control a little or it's no fun. But all the prep work up to this point is done now, right? So, why do you have to make this end the same way as that old case?
I'll say it again. Don't underestimate him.
Huh?
Miyashiro Takuru will keep on searching without limit.
The reason he created me is... The vision changed again. That's me. That's me from that day. When I made it to the shelter after the earthquake. That's right. That's right. I started remembering what I'd been thinking about at the time. I met with the people from my class on the way here. They were probably trying to help a woman who was injured and covered in blood. They'd asked me to help. I couldn't move, couldn't think clearly, even though I knew how to give first aid. They seemed to think I was going to just let the woman die. So they looked down on me. I hope I never end up like him, there I said. It was what I, as a right-sider, had always thought about wrong-siders like them. It was the way I'd always looked at them. I was angry and frustrated that they looked at me like that. I know all kinds of things that they don't. Are they treating her injuries right? Are they doing it in the right order? I should go back and tell them what to do. I'm sure that I can make the right decisions. That's what I was thinking to myself at the time. Takuru!
What are you doing here?
Suddenly my parents appeared. Right. This was when I ran into them at the shelter. They were yelling something at me excitedly. Then my mom grabbed my arm and I shook her off. Taku, what are you doing? Don't stop causing problems again. You're saved. I'm... saved? Just come with me. More of the thoughts I had in that moment continued to flood my mind. I'm saved? Saved from what? The hell I just saw? Now I'm being saved from it by the people who never even cared about me before? I shook my arm away again. Saved. Me. Why? You people have always neglected me, but now you're going to save me? Why? The moment after I thought that, I saw myself holding my head in pain. My nails were digging into my flesh. But the pain wouldn't stop, and I kept on screaming inside. No, this isn't right. Those wrong-siders in the class never did anything good before. But they suddenly want to be good now? And they want to look at me like I was worthless? I could see myself screaming more. My heart and head felt like they were going to burst. And now you people are all going to save me. You, the people who just gave me 1,000 yen instead of taking me out to dinner on my birthday? Hell no. I'm not the kind of person who just gets saved by parents who don't even want him. My mom was yelling something, but I couldn't hear what she was saying back then, and I couldn't hear it even now. Shut up. You just think I'm in the way, don't you? Well, I think the same thing. You're in my way. Just what do I do? What do I want to do? Why am I here? That's right. Where's Serica? I remember that at the time I'd carried Serica on my back to get her to the hospital. But I couldn't feel her on my back through the pain on my head. That's right. I'm doing what I'm supposed to. I'm saving her life. Serica will understand that. She always tells me what I'm doing is right. She always understands what I have to do. She always on my side. Suddenly my whole field of vision went white. Shut up. You people should just go away forever. No way. Serica, save me. Please. Please. No way, please. Give me. That's right. These are probably Serica's memories. That's when I made my wish. To Serica. Give me something I want to do. Help me do it. Serica's memories went into me through her D-sword. And my immediate thoughts as I experienced those memories went into her simultaneously. When she knocked away my D-sword, the visions vanished. Something to do, huh? When I came back to reality, the first thing I saw was Serica's face. It was filled with despair, like she was about to cry. I'd never seen her like that before. I knew immediately that she'd seen the same things I had seen. Give me something I want to do. Help me do it. That was a terrible wish I'd made. That was the only reason why Onoe Serica existed. Laughter filled the theater. It took me a long time to realize that it was mine. The pain from the leg my dad had broken was getting worse, but the pain in my heart was somehow worse than that. As I rose, Serica started to stagger backward, as if she was terrified of me. When I saw her, I laughed even more. I'd survived the worst that my dad could throw at me. And a single truth was about to drive me insane. I went forward, dragging my left leg behind me. I looked and saw that at where I thought Serica had stabbed me in the stomach, she'd only cut a bit of the skin on my side. It hadn't even reached my organs. This wasn't a fatal wound, which meant this was also. It was all just a big show. The sword that Serica had knocked away came back to me. I reached out my hand for it. This ends with you claiming to be the real killer. No, that's not right. That wouldn't make me the one who solved the mystery. I wouldn't feel like it was me. Stop it. I see. So it's Dad's job to be the real killer. I was supposed to kill Dad. Then once I think I ended things with my own two hands, you knocked me out, and then... No. And then you Yeah. You control what information got released to the public. Was that what you were doing with your cell phone? Did you call the police? No! Even without Arima being here, I could tell she was lying. Sarika was crying. She was wiping away the tears with her sleeve. She looked like a little girl. No, she didn't just look like a little girl. She probably was one. She was only 6 years old after all. Isn't that right? In the new Gen instance 6 years ago, he was going to be publicly executed. So you need to have the police arrest me and drag me in front of a lot of people. And at the last minute, proof that death, that Sakuma was the real killer comes out. And then I become a hero in their eyes. So that's it. Well, Onoe. My voice was shaking. The laughter was turning into something different. Sarika kept crying and didn't answer me. Tears started to fall from my eyes, and my vision began to blur. It was as if everything in our hearts was turning into tears and blowing out. When Utani died in the Adulthood case, and Takiyanagi died in the audiobook case, and when Arima's friend Kakita died, and when Batali, the journalist, died, and when Haida died and was made to look like Mimasawa Senri, and when Ito was mind controlling and killing Yui, and when Nono died, all of that was my fault. No, I did it. That's right. You did it, and I made you do it. I told you that's not true. Sarah's D-sword sliced apart some of the audience seats, but I kept going. Kurosawa-san was right. Too many things involving the case were going on around me. But of course they were right. The whole point of the case was for me to solve it. You killed my parents because I wished they would go away, right? Sarika didn't answer. I didn't expect her to. This case was amazing. It was just what I wanted. I thought it was a juicy scoop. Anything less than I would have wanted to solve it, right? In the end, after I solved it, all I'd been left was with emptiness and the guilt from what I'd done. That's why I knew what I had to do now. Dragging my leg behind me, I finally made it to the edge of the stage. I could see the steps down to the audience area. All that was left was to go down the stairs and out the door. Sarika's expression suddenly changed. She was still crying, but she seemed shocked. Stop it! She must have used her mind reading to see what I was planning to do. She ran to the bottom of the stage to block me. Don't get any dumb ideas! But I looked right at her. As if to say I wasn't changing my mind. Stop it, please. I said stop! Sarika raised her D-sword and pointed at me. It was a warning not to go any further. But that wouldn't make me stop now. You can't kill me, can you? I'll knock you out again, and when you wake up, everything will be over. You might not like what happens at first, but as time passes, I'm sure that you'll realize. Realize what? What you truly wish for isn't what you're thinking of right now. It has to be known as a hero whose walls. It's to be known as a hero who solved a case that the world has only seen the likes of once before. To be the man the whole world adores. That isn't what I wish for. It is. I can tell because of who I am. No, I'm the only one who can. Sarika's words probably came from the reading the deepest parts of my heart. I wouldn't deny that. She was right. If I just let her handle everything, I would become a hero. And if I kept going forward, all that was waiting for me was destruction. When I thought about that, I got scared. I was terrified. Even so.
どうして
Why? She was still holding her D-sword. It was clear she had no intention of letting me go any further. I grabbed the hilt of my own D-sword and raised it as well. Come on,
来いよ。
I said to her from on top of the stage. I said the same thing to her that she said to me in that dark prison.
舞台に上がれ。
Come up onto the stage, Onoe Serika.
お前セリカ。
I could see her on the other side of her D-sword, looking hurt. But she must have read my thoughts and realized that I wasn't going to change my mind, because she slowly came up. The bright lights illuminated her beautifully. I took several steps back the way I'd come, so I could keep my distance. I must have lost too much blood, because I suddenly staggered. My vision blurred. With only my right leg working, I was barely able to keep my balance. I couldn't stop here. I couldn't.
どうしてだ
Why?
どうして
Why are you trying to tell everyone you're the killer? No, why are you letting them think it was you?
その情報に
The
踊
only
ら
ones
さ
who
れてい
believe
る
that
の
are
は
the people down there, the
下
wrong
に集まってい
siders.
る連中情報強者
You're
の
a
お
right
前が
sider,
最
and they're the
も
people
嫌
you
い
hate the most.
情
The
弱だ
ones you don't even realize that
自
they're
分
being
たちを
manipulated by false
偽の情
information.
報に誘導映画でも見るよう
They're
な
just a
感
bunch of
覚で
idiots who came to watch you kill yourself the same way they all had to watch a
く
movie.
だらないやつお前が名乗り出る
If you say you're the killer, that'll be just what they want. Why didn't he kill himself? He's an asshole. No, he's a god. You can't imagine what
い
they'll
や
say.
神だ
I knew that. I could easily imagine that. The ones outside the Hikariwo building right now are probably the same ones who've been partying at Shibuya Scramble Crossing earlier. There were probably a lot of people writing irresponsible comments online. The TV is probably filled with self-proclaimed social commenters who are telling the audience exactly what they wanted to hear. But I did the exact same things in the past. I was just as bad as them.
僕は
I'm a wrong-sider
情
too.
弱だ。
Huh.
小さい頃から
I never even truly knew or understood the childhood friend who was by my side for my entire life. I gripped my D-sword tightly. It's
もう
over
終わってる
now,
んだよ。
Game Maker.
ゲームメーカー。
The moment she hesitated, I struck myself in the back with my own powers. My vision blurred as I started to accelerate. I knocked myself forward and instantly closed the gap between myself and Serika. Caught off guard, she stepped back and lowered her blade. She was ready to swing it upward. I ignored her and brought mine down. She brought hers up.
So, Taku, what's the plan?
あの時も
Back then, another vision came to me as our D-swords collided. Her sword knocked mine away, and I quickly brought it back for another strike.
Hey, Taku, do you see something weird at the end of the video?
ほらここ
Here, look, outside the window.
窓の外
あの時
Back then, I saw flashes of several different conversations. I didn't know if they were my memories or hers anymore. But each time our D-swords collided, I saw another. Serika wasn't just a normal girl who everyone loved. She was a mastermind who set up this whole game for me. And she killed Nono and Yui just to lead me to the end. The symptoms of blood loss were getting worse. My vision was darkening, and it felt like I was about to pass out. She kicked me. The sudden fierce pain in my stomach knocked me off balance. I dropped my D-sword and flung up my hand to try and grab it again.
Stop it already!
She kicked the sword away. It spun all the way to the edge of the stage.
Just stop it.
I fought through the pain and used my powers on the D-sword. It flew up high into the air.
I said stop it!
Circa screamed in rage, but I wouldn't stop. The D-sword spun wildly as it launched itself at Serica.
Shit!
She knocked it away. Well, I'm not done yet. Take this! I used my powers to make the D-sword fly again. The sword attacked her once more. She knocked it away again. Each time it came at her, Serica knocked it down. I couldn't even land a single attack. Damn it, why? Why? And then I realized that she was looking at me. She wasn't looking at the sword. That's right. Her power. That's why I can't hit her. The sword lost its energy and clattered onto the floor. I fell to my knees and collapsed.
You've had enough, right? Stop this, please.
Damn. This isn't gonna work. She can read everything I'm thinking. She knows the direction the sword is going to come from. Or more precisely, which direction I'll send it in. This was bad. The room seemed to spin, and sometimes my vision would dim. I couldn't move my arms or legs. I felt cold, and like I needed to throw up.
Just sleep. The police will be here soon. Don't worry. Once you wake up and time passes, you'll realize what you really wish for.
Serica said it again. That this was what I wished for. But I couldn't let myself believe her. What should I do? What do I do? What if I changed the direction of the lights to blind her, and then attacked? But the second I thought it, she knew. What if I pretend to make my D-sword disappear and then concealed it somewhere on stage? The second I thought that, she knew about that too.
That's right. You can't beat me. Please, just don't move. Don't open your wounds anymore.
I didn't have the strength left to attack her myself. Even if I did, it was useless to try and attack someone who could read my thoughts. What do I do? Think.
Stop it. Stop thinking about this.
Think there has to be a way. I was the one who created her. Then suddenly I had an idea. Her expression suddenly changed. She was staring at me with wide eyes. Her mind reading meant that she already knew. She already knew exactly what I was thinking. But even so, it doesn't matter. Even if she can read my mind, she can't stop this. When I saw the tension on her face, I was sure of it. There was still a way I could win. I formed a strong delusion in my mind. And when I did, I was hit by a headache 1,000 times worse than when I normally use my powers. It was far worse than having a needle stabbed into my temples. It was like every blood vessel in my head was being filled with thorns. The pain was so bad I started to vomit up stomach acid.
Stop it, please. Stop.
Serica tried to run over to stop me. She kept turning around and looking at the exit near the seats. She seemed to be uncertain as to whether or not she should run, which meant that this idea was going to work. It wasn't something anyone had taught me, but I was sure that I could do it. According to Kunosawa-san, I wasn't like the other psychics, who each had gained a single power after being exposed to what she called the casual factor. She said I might be a true gigalomaniac, with the power to real boot any of my delusions. And in fact, 6 years ago, I'd created Serica, a human being.
Which means I should be able to do this. Of course I can, right?
I twisted my body upward and screamed. A huge number of D-swords appeared above my head. Of course, they were all fakes. The closest weapon to me was that I could easily imagine. Just happened to be my D-sword. But I real booted them anyway. They shone like fierce beasts in search of prey. My head felt like it was going to explode. I imagined each blood vessel bursting, one after another. Or was I really imagining it? Maybe this was going to kill me. But I didn't care. I had to end it here. I had to let my puppet go free. Serga changed the form of her D-sword and spread out as far as it would go. She was going to try and block them all. I screamed and sent them all flying at Serica. And so, I beat this goddamn game. Hello? It's me. May I give you a lecture before we reach the ending? Miyashiro, are you safe? What happened? Good. It connected. I could hear Arima and the others calling my name on the other end. I felt so cold, and my fingers were shaking. I turned the phone to speaker mode and started looking through its photos. Let's say, for example, that you lived on top of a tall building. You looked down and saw a woman killing a man. You put the phone up to your ear to call the police, but your eyes meet with the woman's. She points at you and says something. What do you think she's saying? Don't tell me you're being mind-controlled. You know this psychopathy tests don't work, right? I should have figured she'd know about that. A normal person would say something like, don't move, don't call the police. But a psychopath would say something different. 1, 2, 3. She'd be counting what floor you're on. That's right. So that she can come kill the witness. Supposedly it's because they're thinking from the killer's perspective, not the victim's, but... There was only silence. She must have decided there was no point in answering. But she was still listening. But I don't think that's right. If you ask me, a real psychopath wouldn't think that. If you ask Ed Gein, or Henry Lee Lucas, or any of them really, they would say they didn't understand the question. They'd be thinking about what they would have had for dinner tomorrow, or how they didn't like the clothes the questioner was wearing. They'd be thinking about something completely unrelated to the mindsets of the culprit and victim. It's the same with the Rorschach test and anything else. There's no meaning to the answers they give because to them, it's all just a goddamn game. My fingers stopped. It felt like it'd been a long time since I last saw that picture.
だから思うんです。
I wonder what they were thinking.
あいつ
No matter what you
何
asked
を
them,
聞かれても
no matter what they said,
何を喋っていて
they
も
were actually looking at something else.
実は別のところを見てたんです。
So nothing they said actually
一
mattered.
つの目的だけを
Are you sure you're not being mind controlled? What happened to Sakuma no Noe? Are you okay? Kunosawa-san must have sensed that something was up because the tone of her voice changed.
あなたには
You kind of knew
なん
about
と
her,
なく
didn't
分
you?
かっていたんですよね。
The wound in my stomach and the pain in my head counted times as regularly as a clock. The thud, the thud, the thud. There was a silence. 10 thuds long. I don't know the exact details, of course, but if what I imagine is close to the truth, then she was without a doubt different. In the sense that she was a serial killer, of course, but also that she was as different from normal people like us as you could possibly get.
でしょうね。
I'm sure.
きっとあい
If
つ
you
は
asked her that question, she wouldn't tell you
さっきの質問
about
をされ
counting
たら
floors.
回数なんか数えない。
Kunosawa-san understood after all. She knew that something was wrong with Sarika.
どうすれば
How could I have known? It doesn't matter. Answer me. Are you safe?
いえ、
No.
僕のことは
Don't
いい
worry
んです
about。me. Do you think I
ど
could
う
have
すれ
ever
ば
understood
彼女を
her?
理解してやれたと思います。
I heard a small sigh on the other end, and then a sharp voice that cut it off. That's impossible. I told you, she was a different kind of human. No, a different kind of existence. There was no way someone normal like you could have understood her at all. Kunosawa-san's use of the words different and normal. I thought they were very fitting. Sarika was different. I was normal. Oh. What's wrong? I had a sudden premonition and looked down at the D sword in my hand. I'd used this to reboot Sarika. That's right. I'd created her, which meant I could do it again. No,
いえ、
it's nothing.
なんでもありません。すいません。
I'm sorry.
後のことを
Please
よ
take
ろし
care
く
of
お
the
願いします。
Now she would understand. Kunosawa-san and Shinjo-san could deal with all this. I went to hang up without listening for her answer. But... Wait, Miyashiro. Tell me one thing.
はい、
Yes?
何ですか？
What is it? I said you were normal back there. But what would you say?
さっきの質問です
You
か？
mean the question I just asked?
もちろん僕も
Of course I wouldn't be counting
1、2、3
1,
なんて
2,
数えないです
3.
よ。
Of course I wouldn't say not to call the cops
通
either.
報するなとも言いません。だって
Because
ネット
I
で
saw
先に
both those answers on the internet
答えを見
already.
ちゃいましたから。
I ended what would probably be the last phone call of my life. And then I forced myself to get up, despite all the blood I'd lost. My vision blurred, and I staggered. But I had to keep going. I couldn't fall over just yet. I had an idea while I talked to Kunosato-san on the phone about what I really need to do with my powers. About the one way to save her, instead of releasing her. Sarika was lying face down unconscious. She was a mess. There was blood everywhere. But it wasn't fatal. She was still breathing. She was probably just unconscious. I forced my wounded body over to her. I put both hands around the hilt of the D-sword I'd been using to support myself. The sword had no weight. I felt like I'd drop if I didn't. She must have heard the footsteps because Sarika gave a soft moan. She slowly raised her head and looked at me. I stood close enough to look down on her from the side. And then... her eyes went wide with shock. And then she started to crawl away from me. That sure is convenient power, I thought to myself. She knew what I was thinking without me even needing to say it.
ただ、
But
も
you won't be needing it
う
anymore.
必要ない。
嫌だ
No! Sarah tried to get away, her fingers digging frantically into the stage as she crawled. No! She glared at me and started to get up. But then her strength failed her, and this time she fell flat on her back. She gasped like she was drowning and quickly coughed up some blood. There were tears in her eyes. I readied my D-sword. Stop it. Taku. I stopped. Just this once.
殺すわけじゃない。
I'm not going to kill you.
分かってるだ
You
ろ。
know that. I'd rather you did! Her scream echoed violently in my ears.
どうして、
Why
そ
are
ん
you
なことを
saying
言うん
that?
だ。
I
僕
was
は
going to use my D-sword to change her. I was going to change her into a normal girl. With no powers. Who didn't kill anyone. And who didn't even know that I created her. I was going to rebuild her into a normal girl.
僕なら
I can do
それが
this.
できる。
I'm the only one
僕
who
にしかで
can.
きない。
I'd already created her from nothing. I knew I could do it. I could make her normal. No, I don't want to. She was crying like a baby. Are you scared? Afraid? Why? Don't take my reason for living away from me. She was weeping, and her voice was desperate. I've read lots of minds since I was created. Everyone's always worried, and no one ever knows. When they smile, they don't even know why they're doing it. I don't want to be normal. Her voice bounced off the stage and hung over the empty seats. No one but me heard it. Her tears fell onto the floor, mixing with my blood.
ダメだ。
No,
お前は
you're going to be a normal girl.
普通の女の子になるんだ。
I spoke softly as I raised my D-sword high. Please. Please, let me help you forever. I remembered what was in Nono's letter. Forget everything and live the same life as everyone else does. But don't get buried among the crowd. Doing that is impossible for me now. But I know that you can do it. This is it. Goodbye.
それじゃあ、さよなら。
Farewell, Sarika.
POI secured. Person's name is Miyashiro Takaru, 18 years old. He is a third-year student at Hegio Academy. We have secured Miyashiro Takaru.
February 2016. 3 months later. Morning at the Abba Dormitory group home. You?
もうできるから
I can do it on my own now. When Uki finished washing her face and came into the dining room, Yuta was already getting breakfast ready.
私がやるって言
I
った
said
の
I'd
に
do it.
うん座
No,
っ
you
て
can
てい
sit
い
down.
よ
She looked inside the kitchen and saw that Yuta had already done all of Uki's work for her. Fine, I'll do the cleanup myself. As she thought that to herself, she sat in her chair without further complaint. Lately, Uki had learned to make a few dishes without resorting to the recipe scrapbook that Kurusu and Yui had made. Of course, her food didn't taste quite as good. But if nothing else, she wasn't trying difficult recipes and burning the pan like she'd been doing right after she came back here. After a short wait, Yuta brought all the dishes to the table.
ありがとう
Thanks.
じゃあ
Okay,
いただ
let's
きます
eat.
いただきま
Let's
す
eat.
Yuta could also make simple dishes himself now. Oh, whoops. It was his idea, and he'd been working hard on it. 3 months had passed after everything that had happened. With its owners Sakuma, Takaru, Kurusu, and Yui gone, Alba Dorm itself was in danger. The place had only survived because of Sakuma's salary, so that was natural. But when Shinjo had told them it was safe to go back to Shibuya, they both insisted on coming home to Alba Dorm. Shinjo insisted it was impossible, but surprisingly, it was Momose who helped them out. She called in a few favors, and Alba Clinic had become the property of a completely normal private doctor, and some of the clinic's earnings were dedicated to keeping Alba Dorm alive. Of course, it wasn't a family like it was before. The doctor just worked at the clinic. He didn't manage the dorm. Instead, a nutritionist and nurse, both of whom said they were acquaintances of Momose's, would come by every day. Buruki and Yuta wanted to keep as much of their old lives as possible, so they wanted to make their own food. So on weekends and days, when the nutritionist couldn't come, the two of them eagerly went to the kitchen.
It's good.
I
got a little too thick, though.
Only very recently had Yuto started to talk more. After what had happened to Yui and Nono, and then when he'd been told about what happened to Sakuma and Takaru, he'd become nothing but an empty shell. The one thing that saved him was that even then, Uki had stayed by his side. Yuto had desperately wanted to be with someone after everything that had happened. Of course, the wounds in his heart hadn't healed. No, they probably never would. The loneliness and regrets would come back to haunt him again and again. Even Uki herself sometimes had trouble sleeping at night. When it happened, she would go to Yuto's room and tell him it was because she knew he was afraid of being alone at night, and the two of them would endure the terror together. And the two of them were brother and sister, inseparable now, just like Nono and Takaru had been.
Oh, right, about the proposal? Yeah.
Uki's chopsticks suddenly froze.
I'm okay with it. Huh?
She didn't expect that answer. She thought Yuto would refuse.
It would be better to have someone use them, I think.
They were thinking of accepting new members at Alba Dorm, which would mean they'd have to use Takaru or Nono's rooms. She wanted to save them personally. Nono wasn't coming back, but she wanted to believe that Takaru might. But if Yuto had made his decision, she had to support him as big sister.
You're right.
She smiled the best she could and started eating more of her little brother's cooking.
Ciao, Hinai-chan.
The door opened and Arimura Hinai walked into the newspaper club room.
Oh, you guys got free period too, Hana?
Yay! The owner of the room raised a hand in greeting without even looking up like she always did. So Kazuki's just become the owner of it. Okay. It's just a gaming room now.
Her mood is good, say.
She learned how to tell from the sounds on the keyboard. Damn. Arimura sat in her usual spot and took out the book she was reading, Taro Miyake's famous 6,000 Lives and Deaths. There had been an awful lot of free periods lately, and during each one, she would either come here and read a book or work on a novel as part of her literature club activities. Mishiro, Kurusu, and Ito were gone, so Kazuki was always here alone. And she almost never said anything. There was no need to worry about hearing lies. It was the perfect place for Arimura. After the incident, she spent several weeks in Akihabara before suddenly being allowed to go back to Shibuya. Though allowed wasn't the right word. She'd been dragged back there. She hated it, but even if it meant another fight with her family, there was nothing else she could think of doing. There hadn't been any problems with psychics since then, at least publicly. Sometimes Shinjo would call to check on her, but nothing special was going on. But she never expected the case to end the way it had.
Oh?
She saw an unfamiliar expression in the book, so she decided to copy it down into the notebook she kept in the newspaper club. Handwriting was the best way to do this stuff, she thought. There was no class in just typing everything onto a computer. She stood up and looked up for it on the steel shelves against the wall. But it wasn't where she thought it would be. She reached out her hand toward the back of the shelf.
Oops.
And the papers that had been piled there fell off. Arima and Kazuki froze when they saw one of them. It was a big map, folded many times over. She didn't have to spread it out to know what it was. No. It was the one the newspaper club had put on the wall when they were going over the case. But there was no need for it anymore. So the first thing Kazuki had done after she'd come back to this room was take it off the wall. Arima had come back a few weeks later, but she hadn't said a word about it vanishing. No, it'd be more accurate to say that she wouldn't.
You know, come to think of it.
Seri.
They said Seri reacted to the light a little. They say it's a sign that she might wake up.
It was something that Shinjo had just told her on the phone. Kazuki turned around to look at her. What will you do? Her face seemed to say. Arima frowned and scratched her head.
I guess we'll do exactly what Mishiro-senpai wanted.
There was nothing else she could do. That was the promise she made to him. Kazuki nodded and looked somewhere else. Arima followed her gaze. She was looking at the chair that Mishiro used to sit in. Then she looked at the one that Serika used to sit in. For what it was worth, Arima hadn't sat there a single time since she'd started coming here.
Then Ito-kun's completely innocent.
That was Momose's first question after hearing about what had just happened at the hospital.
Correct. Seems it really was just being mind-controlled. Safe to assume he has no information on the committee. The only other possibility is there were Noe and Miyashiro, but
not with the way things are looking, yeah? Kunosato and Momose both died at the same time. Sakuma was dead. They'd gone over everything he owned, as well as his body, but learned barely anything. She'd found, with the help of her very, very strange acquaintance in Akihabara, that Sakuma had indeed worked at the basement under Tokyo General Hospital, but nothing else. How the data was deleted. There was no data left of Sakuma. She hated to admit it, but the committee was good at their work, and fast. Even the police didn't seem to know who he was. That night, 3 months ago, she still didn't know what had happened between Miyashiro, Onoe, and Sakuma back then. But if what she was imagining was correct, especially in light of her final call with Miyashiro, there was a need to question what Serika had told her at Frisia. She talked a lot about the committee, but looking back, there was a good chance it was a lie used to gain Kunosato's cooperation. I keep hitting the button. As proof, even after she'd taken the psychics out of Shibuya, nothing had happened. Her hacker acquaintance had checked his network and hadn't seen anything at all. With no real reason to stay in Akihabara anymore, she'd come back to Shibuya, but while she was gone, all the threads connecting Sakuma to the committee had vanished. Either she'd screwed up, or maybe... Maybe Sakuma really was no one of importance after all, which meant they simply gave up on him when he was no longer useful. But there was a lot of equipment that had disappeared from that underground facility. Even if he was the one who moved it, someone else had to be in charge of it by now. If she could just find out who that someone was. The other chance is... But mostly looked at Kunosato and tapped her own temples. In here. Chaos Child Syndrome. You're right. That was the one route she still had open to her. It was a piece of evidence she'd chosen to use to get her revenge on the committee. That strange disease that had started showing up in certain victims of the earthquake. Suddenly her phone began to vibrate in her pocket. She saw the name on the phone and realized that it wasn't the time for his usual check-in. That meant something had happened. What is it? Onoe has... She's awake. February 2016. She won't remember, though. She shouldn't. She slowly stepped into the hospital room. The room was clean. The air was pure. She nodded, satisfied with that. It was disappointing that no one had brought any flowers, but in light of his condition, there was no helping that. The curtain was closed, so she couldn't see him from here. She walked softly, without making a sound. She approached the bed nervously. She put her hand on the curtain and slowly opened it. Is it? The person she was looking for was lying there. She sighed in relief, and then brought her face close to his as if giving a kiss to a loved one. She was close enough that her short hair fell on his face. He's fine. Yeah, he's fine, she thought to herself. He had lost a little weight, but it was still the face of the boy she'd known for years. She then opened the window. Fresh air blew into the room. The weather was great. It was a perfect day to go outside.
Let's go, Taku.
Oh. Breaking news. As of 9 a.m. this morning, the killer behind the return of the New Generation Madness murders, Miyashiro Taku, disappeared from a prison hospital. The bodies of several guards were found, evidently killed in a struggle. As for the reason the killer was being kept at the hospital, the police have stated that he was being examined as a Chaos Child Syndrome patient, and that there was no problem with the site's security. Well, that was a horrifying ending. What the hell happened there? It sounds like he went insane. Wake me up. Oh god, that's so loud. Mute it. Gosh dang it. Why is that so loud?
Hitaku, did it come true?
Did
Did you get what you wanted?
I got flashbang my sound, if that's what you mean. Over Sky End. Hidden Story has been unlocked, and my ears have been burst. I am a right-sider achievement. Made no mistakes when putting on stuff. I don't even think that's true, but anyways, we're gonna go ahead and end it here for today. That was terrifying ending. I wonder if that will explain another ending, but yeah, we're gonna go for more. That was awesome. Sorry, I was going to do a lot more talking, but then the music was so loud and flashbang me that I forgot everything I was going to say. So, I feel like that's a more appropriate way to end this. So, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you all later. Peace!